Hey there, fellow watchers. It's that time of the week again, Born to Watch. It's incredible to think that a man with $106 in the bank, no car, he was trying to sell his dog, was offered $350,000 for the rights to his script, and he knocked it back unless he was able to star in the film. The story of the 1976 Oscar-winning Rocky is a true life imitating art, imitating life situation.
Right.
You would have to be living under a rock to not know the name Rocky Balboa. He's been with us for almost 50 years. And for some of us, just the mere mention of his name brings goosebumps. We start our journey tonight not only to honour the great Rocky franchise, but also the late, great Carl Weathers, who passed far too early and who without, I don't think Rocky would be the same. Join us as we cover the whole franchise. We will review one Rocky movie a month until we are done. We might miss Rocky 5. I don't know yet. We'll put that to the test. We have the whole team back together for the first time this year. It is very, very exciting. G-Man, how are you, mate?
All right, Rocco.
All right, Sly.
Oh, what an uplifting movie to come back to. Yeah, it's great to be back, but gone for a little while.
Yeah, it's it's a bit like you. I feel like you should be running down the streets of Philly,
Mate. My plans for worldwide domination. But no, people have been calling out online. I hear wanting me back.
You've been sorely missed. You've been sorely missed here on the couch. That's for sure. Damo's been a bit lonely. I've been feeling a little frisky.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to start with the fact you just mentioned the word Philly. A lot of people may not know this, but that is short for Philadelphia.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Boom, right there.
Wow. Geez, you're good.
What do you think of that stats, man?
That was awesome.
Can't be
beaten.
beaten.
A stat right up my alley.
I know.
I love that.
Dan up there on the land, back for his third show of 2024. The underdog himself. How are you, mate?
What do you mean? It's March. Jeez, I'm slowing up a bit.
You are, and you've been sorely missed too, Daniel. You know, you've been zipping around the world, but welcome.
I have. I've been a little bit busy. Our F-Weeks, fellow F-Weeks, you might not know, but I'm a bit of a 6C in my spare time, and I've been off riding dirt bikes in far-flung locales and drinking a lot of piss. So good to be back. Actually, F-Weeks, you may also not know that I'm a bit of a pugilist myself, and I went back into training tonight, just coincidentally, when we're talking about Rocky, and oh my God, I've got the white boy disease. 3 weeks off, and geez, it hurt. Oh my goodness. But soon I'll be back. And I don't know if you've seen, there's a bit of footage at the moment of Iron Mike Tyson training at age 57, about to be turning 58. Well, he's pretty slick on the pads, and it has been remarked that he looks a bit like myself. So I'm very interested to see what happens when that fight occurs. But yeah, look, boxing's very close to my heart, very close to the G. I mean, the G likes more of the Eastern martial arts and combat sports, it must be said. He's not exactly like boxing's never been your first love, G. That'd be fair statement.
No, that's right. No, mixed martial arts. You know.
Well, yeah. It was hard.
Centered in Kung Fu.
It was very hard last week because with Napoleon Dynamite, we had Rex Kwon Do.
Yeah.
And we were yearning for some comment on the on the break the wrist and step away.
The Rex Kwon Do performance, for him to dodge the kip leg sweep is probably some of the greatest fight choreography I've ever seen in my life.
It's better than anything we saw in this movie.
It's next level.
You have to go and see it. Kip does a leg sweep on Rex Kwon Do, and the way he just parries it, incredible.
Okay, look, 48 years old, this movie. It's been with us. It's been with me my whole life, essentially.
It's pretty much as old as Damo's pubes.
No, I haven't got one yet.
Only the second wave. Overs and unders. We're going to set this. And look, am I right in saying that this, in the franchise of Rocky, is not the most rewatchable of the franchise? Is it one that you would find yourself going back to more often than not? Because
I think it's a bit of a 1-2 punch, isn't it? Because two sort of just complements it so well, right? Like
I really love too.
because it's the whole arc of redemption that you get, whereas this is the true grit storyline where
Yeah.
he's looking to do better for himself. It's the development of all the characters.
Yeah.
But it ends up being, not him coming away with a knockout win over the world champ, just being able to prove himself.
I think
two leads on to the next step.
for sure. And then 3 and 4 become very slick action films.
That's right.
Look, as such, it's still nearly 50 years old. And this, Damo, you're discounted because I know what you're going to say.
Okay.
I've set overs and unders at 25. It's a high number, but this is Rocky. Dan, where do you set overs and unders at 25? And when do you remember seeing it for the first time?
Unders wouldn't have a fucking clue.
Okay, fair enough. Damo.
I reckon I'm about 5 or 6, and my in probably about 1980, my dad hired a projector or a film reel,
Wow.
and we had a massive movie night at our house. We just moved in at Terry Hills, and this big house. We had probably
The footy player? What were you doing living with Terry Hill?
yeah, we're good mates, yeah.
Right.
And we had about probably 30 or 40 people come over, and we watched.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
But this is probably so probably 80. So it must have been 3-4 years after the movie came out.
Yep.
But we hadn't seen it. But we had so many people coming to our house to watch Rocky. So, and I still remember my mate, old Chuck Hensley, when Rocky sculled the egg drink, then he went,
God.
"Oh yeah, the Solo Man,"
Oh,
as it dribbled down.
gross.
Yeah.
G-Man?
I can't remember when I first watched this, but it's just like you said, it's always been there. Always that music, always that score's always been there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm 25 on this one because, as you said, it's a little slow. I reckon I'm somewhere around the 15 mark.
Okay, good call.
But yeah, I found it. Yeah, good rewatch.
I think, and the reason I said it that, because I think I'm probably hovering somewhere around that 2025. I think I'm going to say that I'm probably maybe just overs, and only purely because I think I watched, this is not the first Rocky movie that I saw. I think the first Rocky movie that I saw was Rocky 3. I remember my dad hiring it from the video shop and bringing it home to go, "You got to watch this movie." And I watched it with my dad, and then I went straight back and go, "Well, let's go from the start." Yeah. So I'd say I'm going to say 26, just so I'm over. And a lot of them would have been in the 80s, I reckon.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
80s, early 90s. It's not my favorite Rocky by a long stretch, but you can't discount the fact that it's the origin story and it shows it from where it all starts from, right? So there we go. G-Man, why don't you tell us about Rocky?
Okay. Rocky is a Philadelphia club fighter who seems to be going nowhere. But as fate would have it, world heavyweight champion Apollo Creed chooses him to be his next opponent. For Creed, the match is little more than an exhibition, but for Rocky, it's a shot at the big time. While preparing for the bout under the watchful eye of his trainer, Rocky romances Adrian, a shy young woman who exposes the tenderness beneath his tough exterior. Their love blossoms as the fight approaches, giving Rocky even more strength and purpose to go the distance against his brutal adversary. Easy for me to say.
Anniversary. Who's he going against?
Gives Rocky the strength and purpose to go the distance against his brutal adversary.
Well done, G-Man. Okay, couple things here. We need to pick this apart, I think, a little bit. A very 1976 trailer. So this is the original trailer. That's Sylvester Stallone wrote that trailer for sure.
In 1976, was he being compared to De Niro?
Yeah, and
Can't be
Jack Nicholson.
And Jack
Are
Nicholson?
you serious? There's no way he's smart. He's good looking. He's sexy. There's no way this is this the real.
That's the real trailer.
He
That is
really
the
hadn't-
original
He
trailer.
hadn't done anything till then.
That was his first. Well, the Lords of Flatbush or whatever he did was the first one, but this is it.
That's
Mate, that was a
insane.
bizarre narration.
How funny.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can't honestly. I wouldn't go and see the movie based on that trailer. All that was a resume for Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Pretty much was, wasn't it?
Dan, if you were in charge of building a trailer for a hit movie of one of your scripts, how would you go about it? Would it be all about you?
Well, yes, I can see what he's done
Well,
there.
it would be for Morgs. He's the biggest
Oh, yeah.
self-promoter here.
I think, look, it's an interesting, really interesting topic and comment, but I think that it is better to focus on the figurehead of the film. Like, people are going to come and see it anyway. I don't think you need to hype it up. I don't believe in trailers. I think that you should just get out as much as about yourself as you possibly can, and then the people, they'll just come. They'll come.
Yeah, build it and they will come.
I still just cannot believe that. That was horrible.
Incredible trailer. It's the best trailer we've had.
It was like a piss take trailer.
Yeah, and it was 100% the theatrical trailer, 1976. Okay, critical thinking. IMDb rates a Rocky 8.1 out of 10, and it is number 215 in the IMDb 250 greatest movies of all time. Certified fresh 92% on the tomato meter, but a 69% audience score.
What?
So a critical darling. Couple of reviews. The good one from Arthur Knight from Hollywood Reporter. 90. In addition to a heartwarming script, Stallone has created on the screen a character of enormous appeal and charm. Half articulate but funny. Gruff but good-hearted.
Yep, fair enough.
Is he only half articulate? Is he less than half articulate?
He's about half. He's about half.
Okay. All right. We've got a bad review here from Vincent Canby, New York Times. The screenplay of Rocky is purest Hollywood make-believe of the 1930s. But there would be nothing wrong with that had the film been executed with any verve.
Wow.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad. That's a rough review. But Dan, you made a really good comment on the chat while you watched this about it being a bit of a yawn fest. I reckon this is a movie which is really trapped in its time, because when you look at the movies that are sort of around it, this was the style of the day, right?
No, not necessarily. So I think as far as sports movies go, there certainly it wasn't Robinson Crusoe, but it was probably one of the first to cross over into such mainstream love and appeal, and certainly to be shown at the box office. I don't want to step on the Jews stats, but it was definitely a crossover, I guess, and not limited to pugilist fans. Like, you didn't have to love boxing to go and see Rocky, and it's more about the underdog story than it was anything to do with sports, despite it being a sports movie. So no, I can see why we've now been force-fed up-tempo movies pretty much since this film, which rendered it very, very slow. And that was my comment on the feed, was that, yeah, geez, it drags. I kept looking at the time code at the bottom, and there was only 25 minutes to go, and they still hadn't got into the final fight. And I thought, what the fuck is going on? Like, that's got to be the pinnacle moment, the one that you were all there to see, and yet it was crammed into the final 20 minutes. So, it's it definitely not as formulaic as we would have our sports movies today.
Is it a case of, and we'll probably get to this later in the podcast, but we'll just finish here. But is this a case of it's more the journey than the destination that's important?
Absolutely.
And you can see that with the actual end of the fight, where the result doesn't matter.
That's exactly why it isn't a sports movie. This is not a sports movie.
Yeah.
This is a love story.
Okay.
This is a love story because at the end result is irrelevant.
It is irrelevant.
They don't care about the.
Yeah.
They don't care about the result.
I cried.
That's right. It's an emotional love story.
Yeah.
No, I don't. That's why I think it's slow. It's about building characters. It's about real people. It is not a sports movie.
Yeah.
I don't. It is there is sports
not
in it.
Not in today's theatre.
No, but
you wouldn't class it as a sports movie.
I would put this as a love story first, sports movie second. That's the way I see it.
I like it. G-Man.
Well, would it cross over into romantic comedy like Never Been Kissed as well, Danny?
That's a sports movie because there's baseball in that. Yes. No, that is a love story as well. That's pretty much the same thing.
That is so funny.
Good call.
Well done, Daniel. Top of your game. G-Man, Ordinary People. Take it away.
Okay. Well, obviously, Sly is the star of the show here. And we talked about Sly and Cliffhanger. Feels like only a couple of episodes ago.
We've done a few Slides.
Which it was for me.
It was for you 2 episodes ago.
obviously, he got a Best Actor nom and a Best Writing nom. I think this got 4 overall, with John G. Avildsen getting the Best Director.
Best movie.
Best director, best film, best editing. Was there a fourth?
Best editing. No, that was it. Sorry.
Yep.
The 3 of them.
There was nominations.
There was and the other and the 4
Bill
main
Conti
actors
was
got
nominated.
nominations. Yeah.
Bill Conti. Damo, did you jazz your pants a little when we got to talk about Bill Conti today?
Yeah.
Couple of motifs
This is a,
in
this
there.
is a this is a very good soundtrack, mate.
Okay, I don't want to. I want to. Yeah, don't want to tread on it.
Yeah, don't let's
Move on,
not shoot
move on.
that load too early.
But obviously, this was the making of Sly. This was his first movie, as Whitey alluded to before, and I'm sure we'll get into all of that. But around that time, he was really hitting his straps. Escape to Victory, Rocky 3 in 82. First Blood came out in 82. 2/3 of one of the greatest movies of all time. Just gets let down by that last third. But
It's a long road when you're on your own.
mate, 86 Cobra. I was watching Cobra the other week.
You know,
Great.
so
an action movie
but you know what? Apparently, so I've been doing a bit of reading on Cobra and watching a bit on. Oh, it's so good. There's apparently a director's cut that's about 3 hours long of Cobra.
Just him chewing a match.
No, and it's actually supposed to be way more in depth than what the movie actually is, because the movie is they cut it so much to death that it almost feels like a music video. And you know, there's the what about the montage with Bridget Nielsen modeling and the robots?
Yeah,
it's Angel of the City, Angel of the City. Tell me where could you be?
Was he Marion? Was that his name?
Marion Cabretti.
Marion Cabretti.
Yeah.
He likes the sort of like he was Gabriel.
Yeah, he does like a girl's name.
Yeah.
John Wayne, obviously a famous Marion. Bim,
yes, that's right. He was too.
obviously a famous
Marion, yeah.
Made Marion.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, we won't go through his whole back catalogue because we've done that. But just to say, in Creed in 2016, he got another Best Supporting Actor nominee. So that is actually the timeline between that is the longest ever. The previous, it was 39 years.
He should have won. He should have won for that.
He was very good in Creed.
It was a crime that he didn't win that.
He was excellent.
But actually, you know, we talk about that. We talk about that narration in there. But do you know, in 2005, he had a magazine that came out called Sly.
It wouldn't surprise
It
me.
came out monthly, and he was on the cover of every magazine and did all the articles and interviews himself.
Mate,
jeez.
A great fan of the podcast, one Adam Grant Goober. He's a huge, probably the biggest Sly fan that I know. He had a book that it was like a recipe book that Sly put out, and a training book. It was called
remember that?
Sly Moves. And it had it effectively went through the diet and stuff that he did to cut down. He used to eat burnt toast and chicken, right? To rip down for Rocky 4 and Rambo 3.
Right.
Yeah, burnt toast was on the diet. So yeah, interesting.
Nice diet.
Yeah.
Apparently, he did a full frontal nude for
Noodle.
That's what he had. Well, that's what he had.
I'm on fire tonight.
You're out of practice,
I
G-Man.
really lost my mojo.
Yeah.
He did a full frontal nude in Demolition Man, but it got canned before release. Yeah.
What the
Full
hell?
frontal noodle. You're fucking killing it.
What would that? Because they travelled in time.
Yeah, he went back in time.
Yeah.
He was
edited
Kyle
out,
Reese.
yeah.
He was Kyle Reese. No, he froze. So they froze him, and they went into the
that's
future.
right, yes.
And then Wesley Snipes breaks
So
out.
I'm trying to think, why was he nude?
Well, he had to be nude when he was frozen.
And what was the reason they cut it to? Was it a 4-y thing?
I think it was a 4-y. I think Sly's a big 4-y guy.
Still would have
there's
been
no
good
doubt.
to see some side dick in that.
Well, it'd be in the director's cut, Damo.
Yeah.
Okay. If let's you got much more on Sly there because I want to ask one question. No. Ask one question. Rocky Rambo, go. Damo.
Oh shit. I don't know.
First
Blood.
I want a question. I want to answer. Rocky Rambo, go.
Rocky.
Gow.
Rocky Rambo.
Yep.
First Blood.
Rocky Rambo, the character, go.
Oh, right. Okay.
And the franchises. And the franchises. Which one? Which one are you going to take? You're on a desert island. You got to take Rocky Rambo. Who are you taking?
Taking Rocky.
Morgs.
Rocky.
Rocky. Yeah, I'm Rocky. It's tight, though. It's really tight. Move on. Well done, gentlemen.
Okay, let's talk about Carl Weathers. Now,
Oh, yeah, the great man.
The late, great.
had a couple of TV roles early in the mid-70s. He was in Good Times.
Oh. Temporary layoff.
Good Times.
Credit card rip-offs!
Good time.
I just, it's like a soft pitch. You just lay it up there, you know,
Yeah,
Morgs is
I
going to
did.
come in. That's his line.
He was in Kung Fu. He played Bad Sam in Kung Fu.
Oh, he sounds bad.
Oh,
He was evil.
is that Walk the Earth Kung Fu?
Yeah.
Right, okay, David
David
Carradine.
Carradine, yeah.
Yep.
So just a few roles. He was in Semi-Tough in 77 with Burt Reynolds and Chris Christopherson. He's in a movie called Death Hunt in 81 with Charles
Bronson and Lee Marvin.
Yeah.
Mate, it's on Plex.
Is
Watch it. It's and what it's. I'll tell you what it's about. Charles Bronson is like on the run and hides, and a whole village or whole town goes after him.
Wow.
And it's for the death hunt.
Jeez.
Yeah, they're trying to kill him.
Oh, wow.
It's really worth watching.
I got my money on Bronson.
Sounds
Of
a little
course.
bit like First Blood.
It's a little bit a stronger third, a stronger final third. It's got a stronger final third. It's not as strong in the first 2/3, but it's a stronger final third. Yeah.
But guess what his name is in that movie? His character name is?
Is it MASH like?
No.
Okay, go.
His name is Sundog.
Ooh.
Oh, well, there you go.
Shout out to Sundog.
Well, Sundog's a huge Carl Weathers guy.
Is that his
Yeah, there you
first
go.
name, Sundog, or that's his nickname? Yeah, Sundog.
In the movie,
Sundog.
that's his name.
Wow, that's a good name.
Sundog, Skin Dog.
But yeah, look, we've talked about him before. Obviously, in all the Rockies, in Predator, he was Dylan.
Yeah.
Dylan.
He's in Action Jackson in 88. He's in Street Justice. He's had his own show
Wow.
from 91 to 93. Obviously, he was Chubbs Peterson in Happy
Oh,
Gilmore.
that's one of the greats.
One of the greats.
One of the great.
And obviously, The Mandalorian. He was in 9 episodes of that before.
Grief Karga.
Also, he was inducted into the International Mustache Hall of Fame in 2016.
that's valid.
And
Warranted,
absolute valid.
Warranted.
It's a quality. And you know what? Again, I'm going to do it again this episode. I've got a quote and a line that I never heard of before. That's to do with Apollo Creed, and we'll get to it in quotables.
But okay, good. But with the mustache, he has never not been without it, has he? Oh,
don't
Great
think so.
mustache. Great mustache.
He's kept it 70s all the way through.
Why not?
Like my dad.
Why
Sort
not?
of thing. Just keep that mo.
Well, mate, Terry, why would he get rid of it?
Yeah,
It's
I know.
it's this Herculean mustache,
It is. Yeah, he's still got it.
not
yeah.
Poirot. I mean, like the
Oh,
Greek god,
Well, Poirot in the Murder on the Nile or whatever.
Death on the Nile,
Death on the Nile. Yeah.
Murder on the Orient Express.
That's it.
Yes.
Those two.
Yeah. Sorry, G-Man.
All right, let's get going. Talia Shire.
I think her
Obviously-
wasn't her original first name Jenna.
Jenna
know.
Shire.
No, Genitalia.
Oh my God. Boom.
I'm here all night.
Obviously, the younger sister of Francis Ford Coppola, and you'd think she'd be known for The Godfather, which she was in 72.
Yeah.
Playing the sister.
She's such a fuckwit in those movies.
You'd think she'd be known for Rocky, the Rocky series, as Adrian. Obviously, the love interest throughout the
Oh, I
movie.
would think so.
But no, Damo.
What does she know?
Surely you'd know her more for a role as Mrs. Jones in the 1986 movie Rad.
Of course. Mrs. Jones. Rad. What were they on BMX bikes or what?
I don't know, wasn't that one you talked about? Rad, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know. I don't.
No,
Maybe it wasn't
I
you.
think it was just his favourite word.
It's rad. It's rad.
Yeah, it was some sort of BMX cross.
I think it was a
adventure.
BMX movie,
It was.
Rad.
Maybe it wasn't you that Damo then talked
No,
about.
I
it.
don't think.
Sounds more Morgs.
Somebody on here had talked about it, so maybe it was one of the guests we've had on.
Yeah.
Sounds Morgs.
She was also in I Heart Huckabees in 2004.
What a
and-
shit movie.
Yeah, I've never
One
seen
of the
that.
worst movies ever made. I Heart Huckabees. David O. Russell. Fuck. Terrible.
I heard bad things when it came out, and I've stayed away
Terrible.
ever since.
Terrible movie.
And most recently, she was in Chantilly Bridge with Patricia Richardson and Ali Sheedy.
You got a pretty face and a ponytail. That's the Big Bopper.
Yeah, he's the.
Oh, bears are what I like.
He was in the plane with Richie Valens,
he
wasn't he?
was. Yeah.
Hmm.
Buddy Holly. Yeah.
The big baloney bopper.
Yeah.
But all right, let's move on. Burt Young. So he was in Chinatown for one of his early movies. He played Curly in 1970. Obviously in Rocky and all the ensuing Rocky movies. He was also played Pigpen in the movie Convoy in 78.
Oh, Chris Christopherson.
Yeah, Rubber
I was
Ducky.
watching that 3 or 4 months ago. It came on late
It's
one night.
not real good.
I think we've talked about
Yeah, I
Convoy
think I
before.
talked
might
about
have brought it
Convoy,
up as one of my dads once, I think.
Yeah, he was in Once Upon a Time in America in '84. He was in Back to School, which we were talking about before the show. He played Lou. He's also as Mickey Blue Eyes with Hugh Grant in 1989.
Right.
He was Burt Young was also a professional boxer. He was 17-0, and he was also in the army, and he had a pretty good boxing career.
He served in the Marines.
Army as
Yeah,
well.
he used to have, like he said he was 32-1 or something like that. He said that's alleged.
He had fights in the army, like army fight, but then as a professional career, he also had fights.
Yeah,
as well.
he had quite a lot of fights. Yeah,
he looks like a boxer.
He looks like a fuckwit in this movie.
Yeah.
That's what he looks like.
Mm.
but yeah, he and Sylvester Stallone and Tony Burton are the only actors who appeared in all 6.
How good's
movies.
Tony Burton?
Yeah,
Duke. He doesn't even have a name in
In
this
the first
movie.
one,
He's
they
just
don't
a
know.
polo's
the
trainer.
coach. Oh,
It's just
yeah.
a
didn't
polo
get a name
trainer.
till the second one, right?
Yeah, Duke. Love him.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Burgess Meredith is the last one.
Oh, he's great.
Mate, his first credited role was in 1936.
Yeah, I know.
was
And
his
even
first
then, he
credit
was
role.
playing a grandparent
Yeah.
to someone.
He's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
around.
He was the Penguin in Batman, the original.
Yes,
It's
he
about
was.
21 episodes in the late 60s.
Yep.
Obviously Rocky and ensuing Rocky movies. He was in Foul Play in '78 with Goldie Hawn and Chevy Chase, and the original Clash of the Titans with Laurence Olivier.
Yes, he certainly was.
In 81.
He builds the owl, the gold owl that he gives to Perseus.
Yep.
But yeah, that's really it. So we'll cut it there for the cast.
Yep, well done. Well done, G-Man. Excellent work as usual. What about the budget? Anything of that?
Yeah. So the movie domestically grossed 117 million, internationally 107.7. So worldwide was 225 million.
Wow.
On a budget of $1.1 million.
No. The highest grossing movie of the year was
It
for
was
1976.
It was. The opening weekend did 20.5 million.
It was the highest.
It was.
Yeah.
It was number 1. A movie called To Fly was number 2 at 120,000.
Jeez.
King Kong was in 3. Midway 4. A Star Is Born, the original with Barbara Streisand.
Well, not the original, but the
Sorry,
the,
yeah.
the 70s version.
Chris
70s.
Christopherson again.
I
Yeah,
think
it
so,
is.
Yeah.
Said his
He's
name
killing
3
it, isn't he?
times on this podcast, and I haven't heard it in 40 years.
Yeah.
But
Good year, 76.
yeah, but The Omen was out that year. The
Best
Enforcer,
year in film, Marty.
Fuck off, Morgs.
Taxi Driver.
Well, so there's a huge uproar about Rocky winning Best Picture ahead of Taxi Driver.
yeah,
Delusional.
There's an argument.
I could see there'd be an
There's
argument.
an argument. But obviously, I'm Rocky all the way, but there's an argument.
But look, that year, so obviously Best Picture, we said earlier, was Rocky. Best Director was John Avildsen for Rocky. Peter Finch won for Network as Best Actor, and Faye Dunaway Best Actress for the same. Jason Robards was the Best Supporting Actor for All the President's Men.
One of the great movies of all time, that.
And Beatrice Straight, she won for Network. Now, there's an interesting
Network.
fact about that because she was in the movie for only 5 minutes and 2 seconds of screen time.
And she won Best
she
Supporting
got
Actor.
Best Supporting Actor. The record for the shortest performance ever to win an acting Oscar.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's
so
incredible.
how do you get 5 minutes of screen time and manage to snag an award for that?
How much did old mate Hannibal have for Silence of the Lambs?
I think he's 11 minutes.
That's a good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that's exactly right.
I think he was 11
True,
minutes.
That's true.
Yeah.
11 minutes of screen time for Anthony
Still,
Hopkins.
that's half of that.
Oh, good quick
Well,
maths.
All good.
Yeah.
Gow's good.
Such a...
Gow's good. Is that it, G-Man? You good?
That's it. We're done.
Okay. I've been all over it this week. 1976 hit Sleeper and Dud. I forgot to send out who's doing what, but Damo,
That's surprising.
Damo, you've got the hit.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go for an Australian movie, and it's one that I'm currently in production on a part 2 of. I'm working on and maybe then a part 3. So I'm working on Stormboy 2 with ibises. And then I'm going to do Stormboy 3 with bush turkeys.
Okay.
But Stormboy came out that year, and Pelicans, Pelicans are okay, Mr.
Mr. Percival.
Yeah, like, come on. But where's the ibises? Where's the bush turkeys? Let's get a proper one.
Did you
going.
cry in Stormboy?
No, I don't think I did.
Oh, you've got a black heart, Damo.
I do.
I cried in
the original
Stormboy. Yeah,
Stormboy,
you
yeah.
had to cry in Stormboy.
You guys would have.
You're
Well,
a bit
you were
older
living
than
at
we
Terry.
were.
You were living at Terry
I
Hill's
w- I
place.
was
Pretty.
then.
It was
No,
had to be tough.
I wasn't at Terry Hills at that stage, but yeah, I'm definitely not on the Pelicans. I think we need to.
Was your old
better
man pretty chuffed that he lived in a place called Terry and he was Terry?
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah,
That's why they moved there.
yeah, that's why we moved there. But it is spelt differently. There's an extra e in it. in the
Oh, it's
suburb.
EY, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an EY.
Terrey.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Terry didn't change his name. Just start throwing an E in there.
Well, he technically does because he's Terrence, but yeah,
Oh,
yeah, he's got that. extra
Terrence
E.
Donovan.
Yes,
Oh.
I worked with him on Home and Away.
I'm sure you did.
Oh.
Okay, sleeper. Daniel, you've got the sleeper. Have you got one?
Of course.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Marathon Man, I don't think we call a sleeper, but it's not. We haven't talked about it on this pod, I don't think, previously.
Did we
but
talk about it the other week?
We may have briefly
possibly.
talked about it the other week.
I don't listen to podcasts.
Daniel
I'm not
hasn't.
on it, so,
Daniel hasn't
Yeah,
spoken
my
about it.
apologies if you're not. But yeah, Dustin Hoffman, super underrated performance and one that I tend to revisit quite a bit. But what do you guys think of Marathon Man?
Yeah, I think it's excellent.
Good
Roy
movie.
Scheider is great in
We
it.
did talk
Brilliant.
about it.
Last
Yeah.
week
I
with
remember.
Croaks.
Yeah.
We talked about it last week with Croaks.
Ah, right. How was Craig?
Briefly, only
Yeah,
briefly.
but
I
yeah.
think that
I don't know-
Lawrence Dustin Hoffman's great.
That's right. Croaks was telling the story about Laurence Olivier and Dustin
in it.
Hoffman.
Yes,
Stayed up for 48 hours.
Yes.
And he was sort of method acting.
yes.
And Lawrence said, "You don't need to, mate. Just
Just act.
act.
Just
yeah.
act, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Just act, boy.
Yeah, he does. There's
Yeah,
a pretty famous scene in there where he's being interrogated and he looks all shocking.
Yeah,
so I can
because he
imagine
is
that.
shocking.
That's-
Yes.
And did Croaksy obviously like Marathon Man?
Yes,
Oh,
he did.
yeah,
Loves
yeah.
it.
Oh,
Loves
nice one. Yeah, well, there we go. There's my sleeper. Not that much of a sleeper, it sounds like, but there you go.
No, it's a good one.
It is.
G-Man, the dud.
I found a TV movie that came out in 1977. It's called The Boy in the Plastic Bubble, starring John Travolta.
Oh,
Is it the Moops?
It's the Moops. No. It's the Moops. Yeah, John Travolta in this. Robert Reed from the Brady Bunch.
Oh,
I
the dad,
reckon
Mr. Brady.
I reckon
Mr.
I've
Brady.
seen this.
Yeah, you might have.
I definitely reckon I've seen this.
Yeah, also had Chris Christopherson in it.
Oh, yeah.
It did not.
The girl next door makes a teen born with immune deficiencies want to leave his germ-free bubble.
What'd she do? Show her tits.
I don't know.
Flash her tits. It was
Trivial Pursuit.
It was Midnight Express. She'd Midnight Express the bubble.
I reckon I've definitely seen that.
I've seen it too.
Yeah.
Well, I reckon.
I can't remember it, but I know I have seen it.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I'm gonna just do a hit for this year because I've been left out.
Yep, go for it.
My hit, we've mentioned it already. All the President's Men: Robert Redford, Dustin Hoffman. Washington Post reporters Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein uncover the details of the Watergate scandal that leads to President Richard Nixon's resignation. True story. Jason Robards is in it. Hal Holbrook's in it as well. Plays X or Deep Throat, the spy that is giving the information to Woodward
Did you
and
say
Bernstein.
Deep Throat?
Deep Throat, and that's where it started from.
That's the spy's name.
Deep Throat, because he's deep undercover. So then they joked around. They said, "Is he Deep Throat?" So he was then called Deep Throat.
Wow.
Yeah. So excellent movie. If you've not seen All the President's Men, it's fucking phenomenal. Well worth a watch.
We used to call Gow Cold Throat because he used to complain when he was drinking his beers. He couldn't scull. So he'd go, "Oh,
really
my
wanna
cold
go down
throat,
that
cold
track,
throat."
You really want to go down that track?
That and his water chaser.
But I find
Oh, hang on.
a cold throat is a nice feeling.
Yeah, you would have thought
Those are
so.
Deep Throat.
Yeah, it's nice. It's soothing. It's cool on you.
Okay, question time. I've got a few questions here, and Damo, I know the answer you're going to give to this one.
Yep.
Is this the greatest sports movie of all time?
No,
No, it's not a sports movie. either.
no, I don't believe it is a sports movie. I think it's the greatest Rocky movie by a country mile.
Do you?
Yeah, but I think there are other sports movies. that are
Damo,
probably
what would
better.
you say if it was known that this was the first sports film to win an Academy Award
Yeah,
for Best Picture?
Because it's a boxing movie, but like I said, the ending proves that it isn't because the result does. They don't care. They don't even focus on it. They focus on the love story.
Yep.
It is a sports movie, but the love story takes precedence over the boxing.
Okay, that's your answer. Daniel, best sports movie of all time?
This is not my favorite. My favorite sports movie at the moment is Warrior with
Good call.
Joel Edgerton and Tom Hardy. That's the one that I'll watch 3 times a year. So that's going to have to take favourite spot. I mean, there's 100 sports movies that I love. Rocky is not my favourite, no.
Yep. G-Man.
I'm going to go with. What's the one with the
Never
with
retreat,
the
never
Hands brothers?
surrender.
No, yeah, I was going to.
Slapshot.
Slapshot.
I was thinking Youngblood. I was thinking Youngblood.
Yeah, that's pretty
Both
good.
excellent. Both excellent.
Both excellent. Both very different, but both excellent. No, I'm the same. This is not the best sports movie. I do love Warrior. I really love Hoosiers.
Yeah,
Oh,
Hoosiers
yeah.
is great.
Good.
Hackers.
Except we've
Hoosiers
talked
is
about
great.
it before.
Terrible
The
sexual
zero-
chemistry.
Yeah.
the zero chemistry. Barbara Hershey and Gene Hackman. Oh my God. That is
it's not ideal.
No.
I don't see Hackman having a lot of sexual chemistry with anyone.
No, he's a bit like Tom Cruise. We don't want to see him rooting.
No, we don't. We don't. Okay. Surely the Meatworks isn't happy with him breaking the ribs of the meat.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
You know,
he's tenderizing.
Is he tenderizing
Before
it?
his time.
yeah, absolutely.
Tenderizing the meat.
He invented it. He told us.
He did.
He's invented it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's pretty good interview, isn't he?
Well, you know, there's a whole bunch of things in that Meatworks. Like, I've been to Meatworks just fairly recently, and you got to fully dress up like you're going into surgery.
Mm.
You know, that place is like hands.
There's no
and
OH&S in there.
puppetry,
No.
Yeah, just touching the meat and just belting it.
He's a bad butcher, Paulie.
Yeah, he's slow at cutting.
Yeah,
He's not very good
shocking.
at cutting
No.
that
Shocking.
steak.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
Yeah.
why he wanted out of there. I think he wanted. That's why
He
he
wanted to work
wanted
with
out of the job.
Gazzo.
yeah. So I don't.
Cow
I think-
Brownlee's
they-
old man would be shocked at that.
No,
Oh,
That's
Frank
right.
Frank would have been
So, yeah.
You can do
absolutely.
do anything you want in there with that meat. They'll still sell that. That's
Oh,
that's gone out the door as prime grade A.
There's meat with holes in it that people
Yeah.
are using, having a dick with it.
maybe.
Yeah, okay. Is Paulie one of the worst people on planet Earth?
Yeah, he's not great, is he?
No,
Especially when he gets on the cans.
He's a shit bloke.
even not on the cans, he's a absolute dick.
In every movie, though, he's a shit bloke.
Not as bad in 2, I don't believe.
And then he goes at the start of 3 where he throws the bottle at the Rocky Penny,
Yeah.
which we all want.
Yeah, yeah, he is a dick.
Yeah, and then he's a dick in Rocky Balboa when Rocky's trying to, spoiler alert, Adrian's dead and Rocky's going back to the places where they met and he's like, come on, move on. Just fuck off, Paulie.
I think Rocky, I don't know if it was a Sylvester Stallone interview or just something, but they said he was a good friend, but not friendly.
Yeah, okay. He's shit.
I'll tell you what. He tries to beat Rocky up with the bat and says, "I'll break your arms."
Yeah, I still think Rocky would have slayed him.
Oh,
Oh,
Rocky
yeah,
would have slayed.
yeah,
But the
yeah.
next thing he's out, mate. Can I get $3,000 to get a sponsor? How about you make me some quail?
Yeah.
Okay. Damo, this is one, and I'm sure we may get to it. But where does this soundtrack sit in the great movie soundtracks? And then a secondary question. Where does Gonna Fly sit in the most recognizable themes?
Yeah, okay. So I think overall the score is excellent and it's up there, but I'm not going to put it in there with the greats. But the Rocky leitmotif, the Rocky theme,
Yes.
is to me, I say Jaws is the most brilliant leitmotif, but the Rocky theme is the best because it's versatile.
Yes.
You can play it slow, you can play it fast. It is absolutely full of emotion. It could be sad, it can be uplifting, motivating.
Yes.
To me, it is the best theme, the Rocky theme. Not the whole score, the whole thing, but just that Rocky theme is the best, I reckon, in my opinion, ever.
It's incredible. It's an incredible theme.
As soon as you hear it, at the start, it just sort of you're just right in the mood, right?
Yeah.
Like it sort of just takes you straight back into that.
Sorry, I was just going to say, we're all bona fide lyricists ourselves. So we've written
We'll see that tonight.
countless songs. We've recorded countless songs. We pay homage to the great Stan Bush and everything that we concoct from a lyric standpoint. What do you think about the Gonna Fly Now lyrics? And may I just phrase them for you? Trying hard now. It's so hard now. Trying hard now. Feeling strong now. Won't be long now. Feeling strong now. Gonna fly now. Flying high now. Gonna fly, fly, fly. I feel that I've probably written 20 songs on this podcast that are better than that. What do you guys think?
Well, I think that it's funny because it's It's a
montage.
it's a musical piece. It's not like it'd be like putting words over the top of Air from Bach, right? It's about the orchestral.
They did
it's-
add the words in though, right? Like
They
as in,
did,
they
yes.
came later than the music.
Yes, they did.
So the lady Carol Connor is the lyricist, and Bill Conti did the whole montage music, and then John Avildsen said, "I want you to put some lyrics to it, but not too much to clutter it. We want the music to be the thing." And so Bill Conti spoke to Carol Connor, who she heard dun, 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 and she went, "What the hell can I put to that?" I couldn't think of anything. Then she said she was having a shower, and then she came out and she went, "Gonna fly now," and just in the background. So they basically, they just put some additional bits of the music in there. Now the reason being is John Avildsen wanted the music and the song to make the audience believe that he can win the fight.
Yeah.
So they said, you need to put some words in there because he's trying. He's going to try now. He's feeling stronger. Then he's going to fly now. So he builds so that us in the audience think, shit, he can win this.
Yeah.
And that was the sole purpose to stick it in.
Okay, I changed my vote. It's brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, so I agree. I think it's as a soundtrack for me. It's how this allows the future soundtracks to build on it, and there are so many incredible tracks moving through the franchise, which we'll get to. The thing that gets me every single time is at the end of round 2, there's a ding, and the song "Going the Distance" starts.
Oh yeah,
and it's like, and they do the whole montage of like
all
10
rounds,
10 rounds, and that I'm already getting goosebumps thinking about that music.
Yeah,
and
it's awesome.
It is incredible.
He's going the distance.
Exactly right.
He's looking for speed.
Bit of cake.
He's
But
all
in terms of-
alone in his time of need.
I got to say though, when I think about Gonna Fly now, when the good old days of LimeWire and Napster and having Winamp on your computer, Gonna Fly was probably in my first 4 songs downloaded.
Oh wow! Yeah.
In that same 4 was the Rocky training montage from Rocky 4, which could be the greatest musical arrangement in the whole franchise. But we'll get to that in Rocky 4.
Yeah.
I think the thing with the score in this is that, and this is my good, so that might be a good lead into that. But it's at the start of the movie, like you have the 6 trumpets at the start, and that sort of heralds the start of the movie.
Yes. The full fanfare.
The full fanfare to start it, and the 6 trumpets only. And then for that first hour, until Mickey, and right on the 1 hour mark, it's a 2-hour movie, is when Mickey goes to the apartment. And it's really, the first half of that movie is them setting up the backstory of all these people and their tough lives in a city, Philadelphia, where it's not great.
Philly,
sorry.
That's
Philly.
that fact.
Philly.
I brought that up.
And you notice in that first half of the movie, there is no music at all. And then as you start to that second part, when he starts to talk to Mickey, then you just get that little bit of music where, and I think it was in the what do you call it? In the trailer where there's just a little bit of piano.
Yeah.
And that's really it.
There is
a bit of the leitmotif.
There is little bits
It's
of
a light.
piano. Just that's
Just the light bit,
really
yeah.
slow one instrument version of the Rocky.
That's
theme.
right.
Yeah.
And it's really slow.
It's
and
unbelievable.
And then as he starts to training, more music comes in. So they did that really well to build that throughout the movie. I think that was really, really well done.
I've got a couple other questions. I'm just going to go with one last discussion point before we move into good, bad, the ugly. You've already hit on that, yeah. Women weaken legs. Let's discuss this statement. And I'm sure we've all got some feelings on it. I'm going to start with you, Dan. Have you ever been on a Friday night, you got a big game of AFL on Saturday morning?
Like in what year?
Would you
year
abstain?
5?
Would you abstain on a Friday night to ensure that you're at your best?
Absolutely. I think that this is common knowledge. It's when you get to an elite level that it actually I mean, for the weekend warrior, it's not going to affect them. They can root whenever they want. It's they'll go out and do what they're going to do. But once you get to an elite level in your chosen sport, for me, I was lucky enough that was several sports. It is a must to refrain from busting one's nut, dropping one's seed, a thousand euphemisms for jazzing your pants, because it just gives you that edge on the next day. And really, when you're so focused on your career, like all of us were back then in our chosen sports, I think that it has. You just need that clear thinking. Have a hamburger instead was my motto.
Wow. Certainly was.
Okay, now
so Morgs, can I just ask, like, does this carry through now to boxer size? Like, do you have to abstain before boxer size?
Yes, but this is not my choice. This is not mutually agreed.
I'll go next, because for many years I abstained on a Friday night, not by choice, but just because I had to, because there was no one willing to play with the noodle, as Gal would say.
Fair enough. Full frontal noodle.
Now there was. And then there were two things, and my wife is upstairs. I've got to be very careful about how I explain this story. I'm sure she'll listen to it on the podcast. I've made two mistakes, and I was very strong with my beliefs in you shouldn't drink before playing football.
Oh, that hurts.
And you should have definitely abstained on a Friday night, because women weaken legs. Now, this is Mickey in the back of my mind. I made the mistake once of drinking before a game of football on a Friday night. It's my first game in the front row, and I got absolutely punished by a Ram man by Sydney Uni. I was hungover. I never did it again. Never, ever did it again. I was sick I was not well, sort of, as a young man. Went home from work on a Friday. Got home around lunchtime. Went to visit Megan. It was quite young, a little bit frisky. May have laid down with my betrothed, and then it was a long day. So may have laid down again.
Jeez.
And then would have thought, well, I'm on a bit of a roll here. This is the only time it's ever happened.
No.
May have laid down again.
What?
Right? And then may have laid down again.
Come off it.
Now, it's the first and only time. It is the first and only time there has been multiple sessions.
Yeah.
Right? I did that on a Friday. We played Manly, first grade Colts at Manly Oval. On the Saturday, here comes my wife down the stairs, and she's not happy that I'm telling this story, and that's okay. And
he said lay down.
I said lay down. We were just having a little nap.
I'm just tired.
Played football on the Saturday, first grade Colts at Manly Oval. It's the only one time.
Story's got holes.
It did. It was the same one though.
Oh,
right?
Thank God for that.
3 points, scored a try.
Oh,
felt like I played like shit. Never did it again. Abstained every Friday night. And I've got a feeling now after that story, I'm going to be abstaining for some time moving forward.
Plenty of tries in your future.
What was the third go like?
Long.
Yeah.
Long.
The only time I ever...
The mind has to wander, Daniel.
Yeah, but the only time I ever feel like doing it twice is before I've done it once.
Yes, and then you lose motivation.
Yeah, no, I'm done.
I can wholeheartedly say on that night I was at Brookie Macca's and you should have just come out and hung with me.
I wish I had. I had.
Yeah, but
G-Man, it must be.
But
G-Man, it must have been very difficult for you because you were so lusted after.
Right.
Must have been very difficult to abstain on a Friday night.
Well, 90s G. Oh my God. Look, for our female F-Wit viewers, if you haven't delved back into social media to find 90s G, like he was a fuck panther. But the problem was he wouldn't give it out. That was the thing. He had a tiny window. That was Sunday afternoon, about 4:45, where he was prepared to give it up for one special lady, and they were lining up. These tens came out of everywhere, but they were just so aghast that all he would give them was 4:45 into a nice takeaway Thai meal, and that was their time for the week. And then he was off, and then his week started again, and his weeks were always the same, and he was so hot.
It was but at 4:45, it was like you kick the termite mound, and they'd all just come out, and they'd be searching for wood.
Hold on.
Wow.
So according to Morg's very funny fable, then it wouldn't have mattered because we didn't play any Monday games.
Oh, boom!
So But no,
No,
I don't-
I'm
I
saying
don't
you
think
were a
it-
proud exponent. You were dedicated to your craft. You were so much so.
To be honest,
Your two crafts, footy and drinking piss with me. They were
Very
the two
dedicated.
things that you were dedicated to. And
Very
you
dedicated.
didn't veer away from that.
I don't think it affected my performance at all at any time because I was equally rubbish. Either way,
It's a fair
equally
point.
rubbish.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Jesus, we've really delved into some.
So I think we all agree women weaken legs.
Yeah.
well done,
Yeah,
Mickey.
Yeah, thank you.
The good.
Mate, Mickey has 50 years up here.
He
to
did.
give us.
He did. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, this is a category proudly sponsored by our new sponsor,
What?
Gage Road Breweries.
Wow.
Now, they've come on board, and we'll be mentioning them each time we do the good, the bad, the ugly segment.
Oh, is it the Gage
Can
Road?
I just
Good,
say
the bad,
I'm
the
stoked.
ugly?
If I had to pick which beer would be associated with our beloved podcast, it would be this one. I've been a huge single fin fan for a long time. I've turned you clowns onto it, and now it's an actual rule that you have to drink it because it's that good. So
Fair enough.
thank you, Gage Roads. They're legends out there. Do you know, Damo? Do you know why they're legends?
Why?
Because they sponsor Brendan Margotson to this
Oh, do
day.
they? Right.
are,
And he still
yeah.
shreds.
Yeah, mate, they're big in the surf game, and that's why we love them as well. I know it's why Whitey loves them. But yeah,
Absolutely.
Margot, absolutely ripping. He looks like
Yeah.
us. He's definitely
he's a big
definitely outside of his fighting way, but he's riding like 6'4s,
He's
big
still
boards,
shreds.
and
Yeah.
still rips. Yeah, love you, Margot, and stoked to be on the same roster with you, getting sponoed.
Oh, so it's Margo and Morgs.
Well, it's the same as
We
Joe
are on
Rogan.
this-
on to
We're
watch.
on the same team. We're on the same team.
I will say you're right, Morgs. There's nothing better than drinking your single fins up on the land. But I am a
Excellent.
bit of a fan of the all-day XPA.
Oh,
Gee,
okay.
yeah.
Gauges, they've even got one for you, Whitey. It's called Yeah Boy. And
I thought it was a
free
Pepsi.
piss.
Do they do Pepsi Max?
It's
It's
non-alcoholic,
kind
yeah,
of
boy.
like Pepsi Max, but a bit tougher. So thank you, Gage Rose. Sorry, Matthew, I do digress.
No, it's very good. Thank you, Gage Roads. We obviously big supporters of Born to Watch, big supporters of drinking of piss, and big supporters of surfing. Three of my favourite things. Now let's move on. The good, and we'll start with you up. You're on a roll up there, Dan, after the Gage Road plug. So why don't you take us through your good?
Yeah, my good is Sylvester Stallone for just having the balls to stick to his convictions. This guy was on his ass. He had no freight. He was going nowhere. He'd been in some shithouse movies with the Fonz and a nice soft porn as well to the state. But he knew this was his ticket, so he refused to sell this script over. And he started out, they offered him 25 grand, and it ended up about $350,000 US, which in 1976 may have well been $1 billion. So he could have bought the whole town of Philadelphia for that. But he stuck to his guns and he said, "No, I need to star in this film, and I need to write it as well." So I just think that having the faith in yourself and knowing that this is my shot. And he wasn't young; he was definitely out of his 20s and into his early 30s when he did. But it just turned out to be a masterstroke. And I think while he may have succumbed a bit to ego in some of those 80s flicks that we do giggle a bit at now, this one in particular, he deserves all the praise that he got because it was extremely unique at the time. And I think for all the things Damo said too, it does expand upon its sports movie beginnings, so that it is the story of a couple of down and out underdogs and their love story as well, which I totally agree with. So I think it is quite a nuanced film, and I know there was a lot of rewriting. It's pretty comical, some of the original characterizations that they had, which we can talk a bit about later. But anyway, my good is for Sly. I think it's just incredible that he stuck to his guns, got this made, got himself made as the star, and the smart prick. Instead of taking a big upfront, he took 10% of the gross in his freight and ended up with about $20 million out of this. So that actually was $1 billion back in 1976. So well done, Sly.
Yeah, well done, Damo. What's your good?
Look, I've mentioned the score. It just goes without
Incredible.
saying.
Yeah.
Because that original, the montage when it starts when he's wearing his grey trackie
What a
track.
tracksuit pant.
He's in like this rundown, dilapidated railway sort of grey skies. He's holding 2 bricks in his hands. So the shot itself is nothing. It's plain Jane. But that trumpets, that fanfare just kicks in, and it just turns that scene into, oh, holy shit, here we go. Oh, it's a bit of a tearjerker for me when that music starts. That scene to me is 90% music and 10% everything else. So that training montage, I love that. But as Morg said, Sly. So Sly's real life kind of mirrored the Rocky
100%,
life.
100%.
So, and you said, well, I don't know what you said at the very beginning in your opening.
It would have been poignant.
Yeah, but it was a bit where Sly was really.
I think it was. Bridget Nielsen had nice tits.
Something about 4 times.
Angel of the city.
But Sly in this movie, I really believe him, like the way his character is, because in his real life, he lived it. When I watched Rocky 2 straight after this, I could see a distinct difference in the Rocky character, right? So I think in that time, obviously 3 years, he's become wealthy and well-known.
Confidence.
Slimmed down. And he was more acting like Rocky, where in that first one, he is Rocky.
Yes.
Like totally believable, totally relatable. So obviously Sly was awesome in that. Mickey yelling is freaking funny. Shut up! Get out of here!
We'll get her to train you.
Every time he yelled, I laughed my head off.
Yeah.
I just really enjoyed that. Smoking Joe Frazier's suit.
How good is that?
Yeah.
I honestly, it's one of the best outfits. This lime mint sort of green.
It's amazing.
So
He looks
so
so cool.
Has anyone got that in listen to this about Joe Frazier?
No.
So what happened was that they sent a call out to a heap of past heavyweight champions,
Okay.
and there was supposed to be 10 or 12 of them turning up, and he was the only one that turned up.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he was the champ for like 74, mate.
So they were all supposed to come into the ring and go around the ring, like 10 of them.
like
and
with
Joe Frazier.
Ali and
And Joe Frazier
Larry
was the only one
Holmes.
that turned up.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Because I mean, but at that particular time, boxing stars were the biggest sports guys
Massive.
on the
They
planet.
were.
Massive.
Yeah.
Like now, it's kind of been changed. But
It's a novelty
LeBron
now.
and
And we'll talk about that.
Ronaldo,
I got a good
okay.
quote.
yeah.
Now I reckon it's probably the Redcliffe Dolphins, fins up, that are the.
Oh
top
yeah,
stars
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Please.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to say this is a strange one. You know, we always talk about like how the scenery is good. I loved seeing the rubbish in the streets of
Hey,
Philadelphia.
how raw is it?
I love just seeing garbage bins with fire in it and just run down, dilapidated looking. I just love that whole scenery. The whole
Philadelphia is pretty grim. Have you guys been there? You've been there, haven't you, Waddy?
I've not been there, no.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
yeah, but I just love the look of Philly.
It is. It's being gentrified quite a bit these days, but it's definitely.
I'd imagine.
I think they really got it in this film, and also Invincible, the Mark Wahlberg.
Wahlberg.
Where he's a footy player. Yeah, he tries out for the Eagles in a trial and a train, and they also.
Vinny Testaverde?
That's
Vinny
it.
Testaverde in that?
Yeah. Also does very well to paint a pretty grim picture of old Philadelphia.
Mm. Yep, then that's my good.
Okay. G-Man.
You guys have already hit on it all. I think Sly is awesome in this movie. He plays that part so well of the bum, the no hoper, like the
He's
guy
a
that's
bum.
down on his luck, living a rough and all of that you just said, Damo, about the backdrop. It just sets the scene for the whole movie.
Yeah.
Just how tough life is for them all.
Underdogs,
How
yeah.
they've all got their issues. They've all got their problems. Adrian's painfully shy. Paulie's looking for a different life. He's just trying to do something better. And he's an asshole.
Massive
He's
asshole.
Rocky's working for a 2-bit standover guy. Like it's just the barren life they have, and I think that's what makes the whole movie so good is the underdog story of coming out of that and how their arcs all sort of change. And that's I was just saying really early on. That's the same thing with 2 because it takes that from that level where they get to the next level where he becomes a champ, right? And he's full rise. So,
yep.
As I said before, I love the music, the score, but just the way they intersperse it into this to bring that, level of motivation up, I think is great. And that's really it because we've touched on everything else. So.
Okay, it's hard not to mention Sly, but I'm going to put in Sly and Rocky together. Like I reckon Sly's an underrated actor.
Yeah,
I think he's acting his ass off in these movies.
He's
right?
fantastic.
And I think that this is an incredible performance because he is way smarter than what he portrays in this movie.
Yeah.
He's a smart man. If you've heard him interviewed, smart man, Sylvester Stallone. Has to be, because he writes all
He
this
wrote
shit.
this, yeah.
He's a smart guy. But then the character of Rocky, he's just a good bloke. Like, he's
Top
got
bloke.
morals. He's got it, even though he's doing what he has to do to get by, but he can't break the guy's thumbs. And when he takes objection to the owner of the bar ripping Apollo Creed, and he goes, "He's the champion of the world. He took his shot." Like, he's got this real moral standing.
Yep.
I think, and I think that
He never gets too mad, does he? Even when Paulie's smashing the place up beside him,
Yeah.
the trailer, he still just sits there.
yeah, he's got this real moral center.
Yeah.
I think, and
He's taking the young girl back because she's out too late
yeah,
on the
Marie,
street.
screw you, creepo. She's in Rocky Balboa.
Oh, she.
Yeah, she's the girl. She's actually the woman in Rocky Balboa.
Right.
That's her as a woman. The Italian Stallion. What a nickname.
Yeah, from his porn days, or
Well, Stallion is Italian for Stallone. Apparently.
oh, really?
Apparently. Anyway, that's what I read today. Look, the soundtrack is amazing, but nothing better than "There Are Two Kinds of Love." Frank Stallone
Oh, singing in the streets.
in the corner
Yeah,
singing.
Yeah.
Like, amazing. I know that
Take you back.
Take It Back is great as well. Adam Grant Goober loves a
Yeah.
doody doody when Rocky 3, where he's trying to teach you to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this watch, I think one of my favorite scenes, and I've got a whole list here, so I'm sorry in advance. When Rocky first goes to the manager's office, and the manager offers him the fight,
The promoter guy.
the promoter,
Yeah.
the honesty in Rocky's face, like, he's like, "I'm not up to this,"
Yeah.
and he says it to him.
It
He
won't be
goes,
a good show.
"I'm not
Yeah.
up to this," and the look on his face is fear, right? And then when he finally says, "I'll do it," but that scene for me was heartbreaking. Like, a guy's been given the golden goose,
Yeah.
and he knows he's not up to it. Like, it's
Well,
incredible,
Sorry, that was in my good, and I forgot that. The scene when Mickey goes to his apartment,
mate. That's in here as well,
and Mickey's looking for the redemption,
mate.
Yeah.
and you know when he walks out, and then Sly's yelling because Sly's going, "I'm not good enough. I
Yeah.
can't do this, but I'll get beaten up because it's my opportunity."
Well,
that's exactly how he's thinking. Like,
absolutely.
I'll take the fight.
It's actually the next. So Mickey comes to Rocky's apartment, and the tantrum, which was ad-libbed. So Stallone ad-libbed all that dialogue, and he actually said that the toilet in that apartment actually smelled like death. Because he goes, "Yeah, this apartment smells like death."
That's why he was pissed off.
Yeah. So, but that scene is really the emotional core of the film, right?
Well, that's saying
It's the only
that's
time he lost
the
well,
change of the movie.
Yes, it is.
So that's right at the hour mark. That first hour is all about just the characters, everything, and that's when it changes. That's
Leitmotif as he chases him up the street,
Yep.
gives him the
just
hug.
piano, just
Just the
slow.
leitmotif,
Oh.
and then from then it's the training
Then
montage.
when he wakes up at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And you know that 4 a.m. too. You see the temperature?
It was cold,
Oh.
18 degrees. I
No,
think
it
they
was
said.
28, but that's minus
Yeah,
2.
yeah, that's
At
cold, man.
4 a.m.
Yeah.
And you see him get up and he's shivering in the bed.
That's shit.
Yeah,
How hard would-
fuck that.
We wouldn't have no chance of getting
No.
up and doing that.
The birth of the training montage.
Yep.
We don't get. It's almost the birth of the montage, right? So it really starts it. But in terms of a training montage, nothing greater. The stairs, him running up the stairs, then him raising his arms, looking back at the city. That shot is incredible. They use it on posters. It's iconic.
I was about to say, I believe the word you're looking for is iconic.
It is iconic. Thank you, G-Man. I know you got my back. And I've already mentioned the final fight, round 2, when Going the Distance comes in. Fucking amazing. In round 14, Mick tells him to stay down.
Yeah.
And he gets up and breaks Apollo's ribs.
Yeah.
And then the fight changes again, right? And then Cut Me Mick.
Ooh.
You know, Cut Me Mick.
That is an iconic
Cut Me
scene.
Mick.
Everyone knows Cut Me
Yeah,
Mick.
Cut Me Mick. And all this is happening, and on the opposite side of the ring is Duke saying to Apollo, "We got to stop the fight.
Exactly.
We got to stop the fight."
He had blood coming out of his mouth.
we got to stop. And
Internal
Apollo's
bleeding.
going, "No, don't stop the
Yeah.
fight."
Showed how tough they both were.
Exactly right. Now, then finally, 2 final things. Him calling for Adrian at the end.
Yeah.
The result doesn't matter. And I've written
Absolutely.
here, the result doesn't matter. We don't even hear the result,
No, we don't.
really.
It's what doesn't matter.
2 lost souls find each other, right? And it's a love story.
Yeah.
And I think that just gives me goosebumps thinking
Yeah,
about it
I-
now.
I
I
teared
shed
up.
a tear
Yeah,
watching it the other
me
night.
too.
Now, did anyone notice last thing? It's Christmas time because it's the fight's on New Year's Day.
Yep.
So it's all through Christmas time, Thanksgiving, Christmas time. And he's got the poster of Rocky Marciano on his wall.
Yep.
Did anyone notice at Christmas time that Rocky Marciano has a Santa beard. He puts sticks of Santa beard on Rocky Marciano.
He put on like
On the poster.
oh
He
my
stuck
God.
a Santa beard
Well
on
done.
it. Very cool. Loved it. Okay, that's it for me. I'm sorry it took so long, but the bad.
Now, I just want to touch on one thing too about Apollo Creed was not the antagonist. He wasn't the baddie. He didn't come across as a bad
No,
guy.
he did.
Not
He
really.
said a few dicky things.
Not much,
but
though.
not much.
He was
But he was trying to put on the show.
I thought he was also giving advice to kids on TV.
This guy's here for a fight.
Yeah,
You better come watch this guy.
that was, yeah, mate. But I thought, yeah, like he was not a baddie. I like that.
Yeah.
he was still a pretty good, tough bloke.
He was. Okay, bad. We'll start with you, G-Man.
The bad, I had the raw eggs.
Oh my God.
the solo man.
Like at that, when I was young too, and like now that I'm almost an adult, I do like eggs now.
have you tried the
I do.
the
My
drink?
palate's now changing. As I
Now
get
that
older.
I'm almost an
Yeah,
adult.
but have you done it?
No,
I did it after I watched the movie.
I
No.
tried the one arm push-ups. I think everybody did that.
Yeah, yeah.
I've
But
seen
I
Morgs try
didn't-
that as
I
well.
didn't do the raw egg.
No, I've drank the raw eggs.
Oh, that's
You know,
four of them.
you can.
And then
I
he goes
actually looked
running.
into that.
Yeah.
I actually looked into that. It's not that good for you. You can actually get salmonella from drinking raw eggs.
Really?
So
That's
move
brutal.
on.
You can also win a world title if you do it.
Yeah.
How'd you go?
Yeah.
Well, you know
I
what?
did it. I just did it once, but it didn't. I wasn't a real
He
fan.
skulls 4 raw eggs, then goes
maybe it was
jogging, and then can't understand why he can hardly get up the stairs.
Mate, I'm thinking if I'm drinking 4 raw eggs, I'm shitting myself in that toilet for 40 minutes
And
before I leave.
the spillage down onto his shirt.
On his shirt, it stinks.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly right.
He'd be in the hoodlums bin for sure.
Yeah.
The other bad I had, and when you're a kid you notice this, but as you get older, it's pretty stark. Is the missed punches in the fight.
Oh yeah.
I've got exactly the same. The
Yeah.
start of the fight,
the Spider Rico ones too.
from
Spider Rico ones are
the
bad.
overhead view in the final fight
Yeah.
at the start, it's bad.
Yeah, it's so
I mean,
far away.
John G. Avildsen knew nothing about boxing, and boxing movies weren't as sophisticated as they are now. Like, they just didn't know how to choreograph them.
No.
Plus, this wasn't the time of video cassette recorders and you guys at the video stores. People went and watched this on the big screen and weren't actually thinking, "Oh, he's missed his face by a foot." So, yeah, I cut him a bit of slack because of
Yeah, for sure.
time. But
Well-
it's certainly very, very harsh to watch in 2024.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it is a 1976 movie, so we have to give it that slack. But I do remember as a kid watching, go, "Oh, he's missing some of those," and that's when you're 8 years old, right? Like 10 years old.
Yeah.
So it's even harder to watch now and go, "Wow," because they're just missing by a lot. Like it's not even close. But we are used to seeing a different level these days.
Yes.
Well, it gets better as it moves on in the franchise.
Yes.
Like Rocky 2 is a massive step up from Rocky 1, from the fight
Yeah.
stuff, choreography. Stallone choreographed this whole thing himself.
He did
He
9
did all
months
the
of training.
fight. He did all the fight choreography
yeah,
himself.
I did watch an outtake thing with him and Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
When I'm gonna land on the rope, then we're gonna get up and you do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yep.
Talented guy. Dan, what do you got for bad?
How shit is Philadelphia nightlife?
Oh,
So apparently you stand around in -2 with your mates and a few birds and you sing songs.
And this is true, Morgs, because I did read that a lot of people did that.
Wow.
So it was a real thing.
Take me back.
I wouldn't be doing it.
Well,
Yeah.
didn't you have a band down in the bad streets of Fitzroy? You're living down in Melbourne.
Yeah, I mean that was
You'd have a
different. Like,
doo-wop
we
band
were,
or
yeah.
Around the bin with the fire.
No, we were playing like punk rock clubs and real underground playing to
Fuck
you
it,
know,
Doug.
some of the
Self-promoter.
luminaries of
He's the
Fitzroy,
Sly Stone. He's
Sly Stone.
Yeah, look, shit house. Thank you, Philadelphia.
Okay, Damo, bad?
Yeah, well, similar. I don't think he did block one jab.
No, he just with his face.
Yeah, like there was a really interesting fight.
He had bad defense, didn't he?
He had the gloves down low.
Yeah, he
and
did.
he just
He was-
every jab was to his head.
I did love that he's
He's an awful boxer. Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Mate, he's good at the body.
They-
I've never seen
they
anybody
do
good at
this-
the body like this guy.
And that's been part of the Rocky mythology the whole time, was that he led with his head and that was his defense, and he's just so tough. But and I think they covered it up a lot by making him a southpaw as well, which was as Apollo's trainer says, that you don't want to fuck with these southpaws because they are a bit weird. But yeah, I mean those first fights, the first fight that Rocky's in the hall, he's just his hands are down by his
It's terrible.
his waist and just copping it in the melon. So he has to fire up like the G-man.
You said that's his thing, right? Like as the movies go through, you know, he when he gets fired up, he starts taking.
He
the
can
big
take
shots,
a
and he's
punch.
Like, come on, it's a bit like Hulk Hogan, you know, like
Yes.
Hulk could take a beating and then he'd start doing the
Yes.
shake, you know,
Oh,
and you go,
man.
oh no,
Let's get
here
every
he
now,
comes.
yeah.
That was what he did. And then he'd call them on and get hit in the head
Yeah.
15 times,
Well,
and
That's
that was
good.
his
Yeah,
wake up.
Spider Rico headbutt him.
Headbutted
Oh,
him.
that's
Yeah,
right.
then he got all angry.
Got the
Yeah.
dirts about
He
that.
did. He
didn't
got angry after the headbutt.
Yeah. The other thing too.
Then they went and laid in the room next
In
to
together,
each other.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. Have you ever tried to run in Chuck Taylor Converses?
Dano, excellent point. Yeah, they are not built. It would have been better running in his boots, like with the
know.
big heels on it. Yeah,
There is zero
They're
cushion
awful.
in those things.
awful shoes.
Mate,
Awful.
I would have shin splints after about 100 meters, I reckon.
Long
Yeah.
cork. You'd have a
Yeah.
long cork.
So that was pretty tough. And I think it's a bit of a shame that the MTV Movie Awards weren't around for the best kiss, you know, back in that day. Because I think Rocky and
You think so? Rocky
and Adrian, they would have won MTV.
she became a horny minx.
Oh, she
Adrian.
did. She loved it.
Yeah.
But that opening kiss, that went that opening kiss, it would have won MTV's best kiss.
Yeah.
Let's retro
The fall down behind the door.
actively. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
them on the door,
it was deep.
So the story about that is that Talia Shire actually had the flu when they were filming
Oh,
that,
yeah,
and so
he didn't
she
care.
was trying not to get too close to him. She didn't want him to get sick, so that actually added to
Yeah,
the
it
scene
made
of
it
it,
good.
and they kept it in after that because
Well,
she was
She
actually
looked like
holding
she
back.
didn't want it.
Yeah, that's right. She
Yeah.
was holding back.
It's award winning for
Yeah.
me anyway.
Standard
Anyway,
Friday night for
But-
me.
there's
They didn't want it.
yeah, okay. That's my bads.
Okay. All right. My bad. We've spoken about it. A little slow, but I think it's a movie of its time.
To me, that's
I can
story
handle
building.
it. I can handle it. You've mentioned Spider Rico's headbutt.
How good Spider Rico.
Yeah, Spider Rico.
I would
is
have liked to seen a spin-off series with Spider Rico.
Yeah.
See where he went.
the Rico brothers.
What did he do next? It was his next.
Well, I
fight.
think he's a late
Johnny
descendant
Rico.
of Johnny Rico from Tombstone.
Right.
Look,
Wasn't there a Rico in Starship Troopers? As
Yeah,
well?
yeah,
was
Rico.
Johnny
That's
Rico.
Casper Van Dien.
Yeah.
Shit, it could be his kid. It could be Spider Rico's
It could
kid.
be.
could be.
It could be.
Although he was from Buenos Aires in.
Or maybe
He
Spider
was-
had
he
a
was
few
from
fights over that way. I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
Paulie, just a dick.
Oh
There's no redeeming features to him at all in this movie.
no.
And should Rocky have flogged him?
For some reason, he should have. Yeah.
Well, because he was banging his sister.
But
She's broken. You broke her,
Throwing that turkey out pissed me off.
mate. What about? But keeping the
the drumstick.
Maryland,
Yeah.
so you could just eat it.
Dickhead.
Yeah, he's a dick. There's no redeeming features to Paulie. Okay, $40.55
Oh.
for winning a fight. Now, in today's, it's $220 today. It's still not enough money.
No, God no.
It is still not enough money.
He'd have to get about $5,000 for doing that.
You'd
sort
have
of
to,
thing.
but he's only fighting once a week, if that.
but that's
Well,
why he's
he's got a
working
heel.
for
Fuck, for
Gazzo.
Gazzo.
That's why he's
Gazzo.
working for him
It's-
because that's what he's got to do.
Yeah, it's not paying real well.
I've got concerns that Burgess, the dog, is not making the run.
No way.
Okay.
There is no way.
So if Rocky's out of shape, Burgess is like the dog equivalent of Rocky.
Well, he's like a
He's
mastiff.
a mastiff.
Full
He's like bloody Richter.
He's a,
He's like Richter. He looks like Richter
which one's Rick?
without the dump on his back.
Head salter.
Yeah.
No, he was a Rhodesian Ridgeback.
Oh, he was too Ridgeback. No, but Burgess, and that was his own dog.
Yeah, good looking.
Yeah,
dog.
was
it?
it?
It's a good
I
dog.
like that he sold.
Good dog. Okay, so he got 150,000 for the fight, Rocky.
Mm.
Surely there's an element of that gets paid up front. Buy yourself a new trackie.
You like
That
the-
trackie
you like with the hit
was 30 years old.
Mate, he spent it all on the towels. He needed a lot of towels around his neck for running and training. Spent it all on
But
towels.
he's
new
still
towels.
wearing that same tracking in Rocky too. And because that's when he's trying to chase the chickens. And Mickey
Good
says,
point. Yeah.
Mickey says, why don't you bloody get a new
Greasy,
tracksuit?"
fast speed.
Well, it's got holes in it by that time.
Look,
Terrible
Gazzo
tracking.
gave him 500.
And Gazzo did give him
$5.
500. He's got money coming out of his ears, old Rock.
Yeah.
I think in defence of the trackie, though, the G-Man ran his Botany Bay Traders from late 1992 through to September 1997. And they did look a bit Rocky-esque at the time. But you were a massive Trackies fan back in the day, G.
Mate, if I could run Botany Bay Traders now, I've looked for them. I can't find them.
Go to Lowe's.
Really?
Yeah, no,
Have
no,
you
there's
been to
no,
Lowe's?
there's no Botany Bay Traders themselves.
Collector's item.
Get on eBay.
Wish
There'd
I
be
still
some
had
botany
them.
bays there. Now, Dan, I'm interested to see your thoughts on this one. Rocky's kid picture as an 8-year-old wouldn't be out of place with the portraits of Dan's cousins on the wall. It was
Yeah,
very similar.
It was pretty bad. He had that wedge of hair, and he looked a bit special. And yes, I did. It would not have been out of place on my wall in Goodwood Street.
Absolutely. Okay, that's it for me. Ugly. Let's start with you, Damo.
Oh, the only thing is I had Ev Jones and Mickey G flashbacks with the old Durry in the change room. With,
Oh, and the beat feet.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you hear Bucky
about-
squirting in the toilet in the corner and then spewing.
It's just, I love the Durry in the change
What
room.
about the guy giving one? You can have this one that he's got,
Yeah,
and then gets another fresh one for himself.
Yeah, I know. It was similar to Vacation when Randy Quaid gave him the beer that he'd been drinking and cracked his own.
exactly it. Yeah.
That's funny.
It's my ugly.
G-Man?
I had nothing for ugly. I think we've covered it there.
Okay. Daniel, anything for ugly?
I got two. So you touched on it before, but I think the promoter was ripping Rocky and Spider Rico. $15 for a locker and a cut man. Like, fuck.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a shower. He charged him for the shower and the towel.
And yeah, $15. That a complete rip, and then I'd already underpaying him for the performance they put on. So that was highway robbery. And then
can I just,
number
sorry,
two-
Mike, can I just interject on that for you? Because
yeah,
when
please.
Rocky, like, he pays for all that stuff, but then when he walks out, he's only got his jacket and his hat and his Michael Jackson gloves. He doesn't take a bag home with him.
No,
He just
exactly.
walks out. Where's all his fight gear?
Yeah.
Like,
Where's his gloves?
you can't have left it there. If you get charged,
Continuity
charged for the roof
issues.
for that.
Yeah.
Good
Anyway,
call,
sorry,
great
keep going,
pickup.
Wolves.
Yeah, that was number one. Number two, I posed this question: is Rocky Balboa a creep? I felt the
as in-
scene when he made
Yeah.
Adrian come back into his room.
Oh,
It was uncomfortable viewing.
It
I
was
felt that.
uncomfortable. It was a bit creepy.
And I think the thing that might tip it over the edge is him going, "Oh, it's a bit hot in here," and taking his shirt off. With his singlet. That was the bit that I went,
yeah. The
"Fucking
singlet-
ease up, Rock."
Then he did the arm, the
Ease
double
up,
arm
Rocco.
pose on the
Yeah.
pipe.
No, but
It was.
if no one would have pulled Adrian out of that shell, she was stuck.
It was
needed a
very
bit- it
James.
needed a bit.
It felt very James Bondish. 30 no's and 1 yes still means yes.
Oh, I know. And come and sit on the couch. I don't know. It's a good couch.
That was
I
my
don't know,
take. I felt that if the film stopped there, I don't think we would have as high an opinion of Rocky Balboa as we do at the end. It definitely struck a bum note. with
She
me.
needed it. She needed to be pulled out.
We knew Rocky's intentions were fine. We knew he wasn't going to be
He's a
something
pure
bad.
soul.
Yeah, so I was okay to let him go. You got to sometimes,
Okay, I'll just
Woo
make the
them a bit.
question. Yeah.
That's fair call.
No, it's a fair call. It's a fair call.
Okay, so that is that.
No, I got
Yeah.
one. I got one here. Rocky's apartment. He's
I loved
awful.
it. I know, but that was the thing that I still love the shithole, the
Mate,
slum
what
side
about
of
the
things.
back of his couch? It's just full of beer bottles. He's got a big dog living in that apartment.
Oh yeah,
There'd be dog shit. It would stink. It's
freezing.
It's not good.
Well, then
And-
she moves in because she.
Yeah,
You want a
she-
roommate?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then my last thing, and it's more a reflection on boxing in general, but Apollo makes a really interesting statement where he says, without a ranked contender, this fight needs a novelty, right? Now, the whole
Yeah.
boxing is now
Yeah.
novelty.
Jake Paul,
Everything is a novelty. And I think that's pathetic.
and mate, he saw the writing on the wall. That's because that's what's happening.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, here we go. It's quick.
Oh, hang on. So that
Oh.
was the end of Good, Bad, the Ugly, brought to you by Gage Meats.
Gauge rates.
Gage Meats. Sorry, I was thinking of Shamrock Meats.
Gage noodles.
What,
I was thinking of Shamrock Meats.
why,
by Gage
why don't
Meats.
you start again? Why don't you start
Yeah.
again?
That is the Good, the Bad, the Ugly, brought to you by Gage Road, which was brought to you by Shamrock Meats.
Excellent. Well done.
Excellent.
Thank you to both of those. Thanks to both of those
That'll get-
sponsors.
Yeah, I'm working on Shamrock Meats. I'll get some stuff going.
Okay.
Where,
excellent.
Whitey, where
Pretty
can,
grand.
if
Pretty
there's other
grand.
brands out there
Get a
that,
place.
that want to work with the team at Born to Watch, how can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, hook us up on the socials. Instagram's probably good. Slide into my DMs. Pretty active on there.
Yeah, well, we worked on bloody Ferdy Dominelli, and Dominelli Ford sent me back just a, yep, thanks.
Thanks
Yeah.
for the 30. Mickey.
Debonair. We would have all been driving-
Debonair.
Yeah, we should all be driving lasers by now.
Oh,
I want a
meteors,
laser gear.
Meteors.
I want a gear.
I had
Or a
one.
Meteor.
I had one.
Yeah.
God, it was a good car.
Yeah.
Ford Laser Gear.
Yeah. Megan had a Ford Laser, not a gear though.
Yeah.
Okay. Daniel's quick fire. Take it away.
Yes, good to be back here. First up, as always, look-alike. You guys have taken it over and called it a Morgs alike, but it doesn't always have to be someone who looks like myself. Was there anyone in Rocky that you thought, yeah, that's a look-alike for
Yep.
someone we know? Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Spider Rico.
I was going to say Spider
Spider
Rico.
Rico is you, Morgs.
Is it the
So-
limbs?
I've got written there.
It's a bit of the hair.
I've got that as well. We've all
Yeah.
got Spider Rico from all.
I think it's the limbs.
Mate, if
Spider
Rico just-
Rico, Will Ferrell, Tyson Fury, and myself, we could train 17 hours a day and we would still have that weird ass, long limbed, skinny, fat Rick. Yes, I'll take that. Thank you, G. Very good.
I'll tell you what, Morgs, if Spider Rico could have just punched Rocky in the throat, it would have been like you in your early days.
Oh yeah, if I was a professional pugilist, not just an amateur, I think I would have ended up like Spider Rico. Yes, good call. I would have also accepted the loan shark who looks a little bit like
Gazzo.
Murray Abraham.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
Ergo looks
If-
a bit like me. So there
If
go.
you could grow a moustache, you'd be Gazzo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I can accept both of those. Thank you. Next up, for a scene that may or may not have passed over into popular culture, we liken it to say hello to my little friend. Anything out of Rocky that now this is really interesting because I looked back at this film and I'm not talking about the rest of the Rocky franchise. I'm talking about Rocky, this film. What do you think's passed over into popular culture, if anything?
The music.
That
is in that
100%.
Yeah,
That train.
Yeah.
Gonna fly now? Gonna fly now?
Everybody knows.
Gonna
as soon as
Fly
you
Now
go-
is one of the most recognisable, and Dana
Yeah.
mentioned before, the Jaws motif and Gonna Fly Now could be 1 and 2 as the most
Yep.
recognisable movie parts from a movie
Theme,
score.
yep.
Anything
think when
from
we
the
were
film
kids-
itself?
Yeah.
When I was young, I said that earlier. Everybody used to try to do the one-arm push-ups. I remember doing everyone tried to do them
Okay.
at school because that was. I mean, that's not something that's passed over today so much, but
What about the training montage?
100%. What about
Training montage. What about Yo Adrian?
yeah, Yo
I was gonna
Adrian?
say Yo Adrian.
Yo
Definitely.
Adrian. If you say Yo Adrian, everyone knows what you're talking about.
Cut me, Mick.
Can't be me.
Italian Stallion.
There's
you
a
know,
few.
So running up the stairs at the museum
Yeah, running up the stairs and
and doing the
doing the arms up.
I just
You
tell
done that, Dan?
Oh, I have done that, and I looked amazing. So
that
yeah, I
is-
can accept
is
them
definitely-
all.
That is definitely one.
Well
Can I
done.
say the cut me mix scene.
Yeah.
I didn't know this till I read about it before the movie. But when you see it, you can actually see the guy squirt the blood at him. Like when
I
he says,
didn't
"Cut me,"
notice.
Yeah, go back and watch it because you actually see him and then he flinches when it goes.
Whoa.
flicks
Love
his
it.
eyes. So
Love it.
go and have a rewatch of that.
Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen. Moving on. Now we have a name change for this particular quickfire. It is now to be known as forthwith as Burt Young in the Rockies, or the biggest
Oh, that's a
good
douchebag.
That's a good.
Very good call.
Yeah. So
Anyway, it's a photo
Paulie-
finished with Philip Stuckey though.
It is a
But I'll
photo
take
finish.
Burt
So yeah,
I'll
I
take
think
Burt
so.
Young.
Burt Young.
Cool.
Now I have 2 for you to consider in this one.
Yeah, I've got
Yeah,
one.
Paulie.
I got 2.
Yeah.
I got 2.
Paulie, obviously, or the driver.
Yeah,
Gazzo's
Our mate, the
bodyguard.
loan shark.
Driver.
That driver
Yeah.
was
Yes.
a dickwad. Yeah.
Take
You
it
know
easy.
what?
He was just a cock.
I reckon we could. My thoughts are Paulie's an easy pick.
Yeah.
Gazzo's driver is a fuckwit.
Just an
Yeah,
ass.
Gazzo's driver's no redeeming features whatsoever, and Rocky should have snotted him. I'll accept them both, but let's go with the driver. You're a cock, mate. Next up, the cast of Caddyshack for an actor or entire cast of a film who aren't quite sure of the tone of the film that they're in, so they just chuck shit at a wall and see what sticks. Did you feel like anyone in this film didn't quite figure out what was going on and ran their own race?
I didn't.
I don't think there's enough people in it.
I thought
that
everyone
was-
was sort of
yeah,
understood
everyone-
the brief, and they.
Yep, I'm with that.
I don't know.
No, I thought it's all pretty good. It's all pretty good for me.
Excellent. I'll accept it. Next one, Olivia Newton-John. Shit, this was about her prime, 1976. She was about to unleash
God.
upon the world.
That
She was already a pop star in Australia, taking over the charts in the Americas, about to star in Greece. But in Greece, she did a cartwheel at the pep rally, which was a particularly poor show of athletic prowess. We remember it as we remember her fondly, and we look back and we say, was there anyone else in the Rocky film that also struggled with gross motor skills? Damo.
Well, I think you could just some of the fight sequences, the
Yeah.
Spider Rico.
Oh, Spider Rico's a terrible boxer.
And just some of those misses that just looked rubbish.
So Rocky's had 60 fights, apparently, by the time he gets to Spider Rico. And his technique is still that which we see in the film. So, yeah, I think it could be argued that Rocky couldn't fight for shit. But as that 5 weeks punch and meet, and suddenly he's a world champion, could be. Good call. Once again, Robot Centuries. Now, I must say, I was very excited to learn of the homework, Matthew White, that is on the interwebs at the moment that suggests our 100th episode is coming up. And that 100th episode is going to be Aliens, the movie that we have spoken about since episode number 1 and have loved for the last 40 years. And features a scene in the director's cut only, which we call Robot Centuries, which tells us a little bit more about the shit that the Space Marines are in on this far-flung planet. Was there anything more you needed to know about the Rocky film that could have been told in a couple of more scenes? Gow.
I don't think you need to add any more to this. They had a full hour at the start of getting. No, I mean that's
an hour of characterization.
We got enough into that, and then then we got into the training and the montage scene. So I think it hits the mark. It didn't drag for me at all, this movie, but I think it hits everything it needs to. I don't think there's anything else you need to know.
I totally agree. I was very surprised by the amount of characterization that went on in this revisit and the lack of actual boxing scenes. So yeah, I'm not going to argue there. G-Man, well done.
Miles, I was going to say some of the slow bits. You know what would have made it good? Some condensation. If there was some condensation in the slow bits,
well,
you would have loved it.
Look, hold your horses because film school's coming up, and who knows what he's got planned for us today.
The film school for the 100th episode will revisit the use of condensation and may require its own episode again. Yeah, so I'm sure let's all stand by for that. But
you know what else would have been a good thing? A rematch, and then maybe one where he fights like a guy with a mohawk. And then maybe when he fights a Russian guy.
We'll get a Russian. And then maybe an American.
Hold your horses.
Yeah, right.
Hold your horses.
Rightio.
Excellent. Thank you. Finally, Whitey's Brad Pitt for the actor you'd most like to star in a soft porn film with. Slim pickings in Rocky. I mean, Sylvester's obviously a good-looking dude. Talia is a bit like the actress that wears the glasses and then takes them off and God,
she's all that. She's all that.
Laney Boggs.
She's all that. Yes, but I'm gonna say that Paulie's date at the fight for $250. You only get a quick flash on her, but a great 1976 sword.
Yeah, well, let's run with that.
But the two autograph girls that Mickey yelled at.
They're cute.
Great swords.
They're cute. Yeah. The main one who asked for the autograph is a great sword.
Both of them.
Yeah, very pretty.
Well done, boys. That's quick fire.
Well done, Daniel. Good to have you back. Listen to this. G-Man, what do you got?
All right, so we've talked about the budget on this movie and Sly turning down all the money to do it. And it was because that the two directors that he was working with said, if you're going to turn it down, then you're going to have to be a writer on this movie, but not get paid a fee. So we know all of that, but they actually said the budget was $1 million. They went over that by 100,000. So the two of them had to actually take a loan on their mortgage to cover the rest of that. So that's what they did, and obviously paid off very, very big time for them. But part of all of that was that they didn't have enough money for props and for sets. So in the final fight scene, they didn't have any people. Like there was only 30 to 50 people in the audience. So they had to keep moving them around. You can even tell, like when you know that and you look, you can see there's not many people there. But the ice rink scene was supposed to have quite a few people out in the ice. And when they turned
supposed to have 500 extras.
Something like that. And then they didn't have any money. And then there was one guy there. So they had to improvise that. And then Sly didn't actually go on the skates because he was not a real good skater. So he didn't, they made up that whole story.
$10, 10 minutes.
Yeah. But the other thing was too, like they stuffed up his shorts and that was the props department that did that.
Yes.
On the big
like for the
thing.
poster was
Yeah.
different to what he.
So
thought
yeah,
he-
so it was supposed to be right, but they got it wrong. So they wrote it in that he calls it out.
He said, "Yeah,
And
they're
it's
white
all-
with red and not
yeah.
red with white or whatever."
So
Yeah.
they
How
made
does
him,
he get into that fucking stadium at the night before?
don't know,
Yeah.
Like,
got no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was the thing. So because they got it wrong, they didn't have the money to change it. So he then just said, "Well, okay, let's call that." Same with the same with his robe. His robe was way too big, and that's what they had. So then they just called it out. He's like, "Oh, this is a little bit big," like they make the
baggy,
character say it,
baggy.
so it looks
In-
like it's just something that happened because he's
Yeah.
the challenger.
in his
Yeah.
Shamrock
And he-
Meats mode,
yeah.
robe.
So yeah, very interesting. So there was a lot of that. Just quickly in that fight scene, both Carl Weathers and Sly got injured, and it was actually Sly got his ribs hurt and Carl Weathers got his nose hurt.
the opposite.
Yeah, the opposite of
Right.
what they actually showed in the movie.
Well, a lot of the scenes, a lot of the stuff on the street, that was all guerrilla. So
Yep.
when he's doing the
Oh,
training
yeah.
montage running through the streets, they actually drove past and saw that moored boat, the big boat, and that's where they stopped. They go, shit, let's film something here. That boat's fucking cool. And it was all guerrilla. So they had no permits, they had nothing. So it's a real shoestring. It's quite amazing how shit was done back in the day. Back when we were kids.
Yeah.
Anything else, G-Man?
No, that'll do.
Daniel, got anything up there?
Just that it was one of the first films that ever used the Steadicam, which is
Yeah, good comment.
very, very common in films now, especially with action sequences. So the Steadicam uses a rig that stops the camera from shaking when you're doing follow shots and a lot of movement. So you can walk downstairs and it doesn't feel shaky like the camera's shaking around like a Bourne film, which makes you vomit exactly like what is showing on the screen now. So it went on to become one of the biggest innovations in camera use for films moving forward. But it was one of 3 films they tried in 1976, and then it just went on to giant things. So thank you, Rocky, for your innovation.
Yeah, amazing. Damo,
I am going to call it that I've got the greatest listen to this ever.
please.
So you know the scene where he's just climbed the museum stairs, and
Yes.
the shot is from behind. and
Amazing
he's got
shot.
the hand- right, that
Iconic.
shot.
Love it.
The very next shot is from the bottom of the stairs, which pans up close up into him. So it goes from the very bottom of the stairs and it goes all the way up to Rocky, and he's dancing around the top. They actually filmed that on a close up with Rocky, and they zoomed out. And when they did the final cut, John Avildsen said he would prefer, because he didn't really go with the music, to actually be a zoom in shot, not a zoom out shot. So they reversed it. So if you look at Rocky up the top, he's in reverse. He's actually doing elbows. His punches are going
right.
backwards. He's going backwards, and you watch it, you go, just for that 2-3 second shot, everything he's doing is in reverse, and you can actually see his punches are he's pulling them back. So it's a little.
I'm going to have to rewatch that.
Nice,
Yeah, wow.
nice
Yeah,
work.
That's fun. That's a good
Yeah,
call.
that's a good one. Yeah,
Well
I watched
played.
this interview with John, and he talked about it. The other one too, so Bill Conti got 25 grand for the package. So that 25 grand was to pay for everything: musicians, studios, tape, engineer, and it wasn't a huge amount of money. So he recorded the whole thing in 3 hours, and for the vocals, he rang his wife at work, who was a secretary at a company called KHJ, and said, "Anyone there that can sing?" Brought over a couple of people, so they sung the lyrics.
Incredible.
Just some people from his wife's work. So that way he did end up making some money. The other thing that he did do was he recorded it in 16 track. And they go, "What are you doing this for?" And he paid a bit extra. He said, "Because I'll bring out the album." And they also went, "Yeah, whatever." And then, so he went overseas and was doing a movie in Germany. And his wife rang him and said, "Hey, this Rocky movie's going pretty good." And then there was a guy called John Maynard who did a cover of Gonna Fly Now. Brought it out. He was a trumpet player and whatever. And it made it to like number 30 on the charts. And when Bill Conti came back to the States, he said, "Anyone want the original music?" And they went, "Shit, what?" And because he recorded it.
Yeah.
And it went straight to number 1 on the Billboard charts.
Yeah.
And he made a shit ton of money.
He would have.
Yeah.
And moving forward.
Yeah.
Well done,
There's
Damo.
my listen to this.
Okay.
Oh, and one more.
Well played.
Cuff and Link is still alive.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And,
Couple of
Sly
like
Otis.
The
Yeah,
turtles, the turtles, still with us.
Yeah.
This film was shot in 28 days. Now that is 4 weeks and 0 days.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, scale.
There we go, on the Born to Watch scale.
That is lightning quick.
Yeah, thank you. All over it. The scene where Sylvester Stallone leaves the house with Adrian and talks about his fear of the fight and all that kind of stuff. they were running so far behind in the production, and Rocky was like, "No." I think Sylvester Stallone might have thought that this was his Oscar speech.
Right.
It's all emotional,
That-
but
yeah.
he insisted that stay in, and they filmed
Well,
that.
it's good that they did.
Yeah, because he considered it to be the most important film and part of the film, and it is. It's a real, poignant part and heartbreaking bit. What else have we got here? God. Okay, he was Sylvester Stallone quit smoking. He actually smoked, but he quit smoking on this film because he was running out of breath. We had to do all the training. So
Still had a couple in the show. You still had a couple of Darries in the show.
yeah.
You know, they actually filmed that opening scene. They filmed that. That was filmed for last because that was when he was in the best shape.
Yeah, right.
So they filmed. So when he was at the start, he's looking pretty buff,
Yeah.
not looking overweight.
So when he shot the jogging scene through the streets of Philadelphia, apart from the fact that anyone that lives in Philly can notice that it is filmed in about 30 different parts, and they had to run 12 kilometers in about a minute to get to where he was.
Oh, right.
He also pulled a tendon in his leg and was taken to a nearby hospital in a wheelbarrow.
That's the official Philadelphia ambulance service.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it is the only film in the series that none of the fight scenes are filmed in slow-mo. It's all real time.
Okay.
Yeah, which is what the NRL bunker should be, real time. Yeah. That's it for me. We'll move into quotables. Daniel, anything for you?
Look, you mentioned it there before in what's passed over into popular culture. Adrian! That would have to be something that we've all screamed at various times for stupid reasons in various states of drunkenness or not. Many times say, look, it's definitely passed over. I don't think the script itself sparkles so much in that it's a whole lot of zingers. I think it really fits the tone of the movie, and the characterization that Sylvester Stallone brings to it. So I don't think anyone left the viewing going to their kids and dropping Rocky quotes all over them. So unless you guys would argue differently.
Damo?
There's a couple of fun ones, but I would think if your name was Adrian, how many times would have you heard that?
Adrian.
You'd be going,
Everybody said it.
thanks, mate. Yeah, first time I've ever heard that. Yeah. They'd cop it, whether you're a guy or a girl, you would have copped it
Absolutely.
for your whole life, and still copping it now.
Absolutely.
I did like the he doesn't know it's a damn show. He thinks
it's
it's a damn
amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's good.
It's pretty cool. And the other one, just Rocky's general conversation. Do you think this road looks baggy? Like he's walking out, he's concerned.
God.
He's concerned about his Shamrock Mate's his outfit. He's this is a bit baggy.
How good is
It's
he?
like what?
Is he
it's
talking to me?
such-
Is he talking to me?
Yeah, I know. The stuff he was saying in the ring was so like random.
Yeah.
That's they're
I had a couple. I like Mickey's always good ones. You're gonna eat lightning, you're gonna crap thunder.
yes. He says that too as well.
Yeah, he's good.
Does he? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's good.
Obviously ain't gonna be no rematch. Don't want one.
Yeah,
At the end of the
that
movement.
was good.
And Mickey, your nose is broken. How does it look? It's an improvement.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So he did 64 fights with not having his nose broken.
Yeah, he's
And
pretty
I was
proud
pretty
of that.
proud of that.
Round one, Apollo Creed.
What do you think?
Go
What do you think? Any more, G?
That's it.
Okay, Apollo Creed. Apollo Creed versus the Italian Stallion. Sounds like a damn monster movie. And then I love Adrian. It's Thanksgiving. Yeah, to you it's Thanksgiving, but to me it's Thursday. Yeah. He's so good. And the other one is how did you get the name, the Italian Stallion? Oh, I made it up one night while I was eating dinner. Now, my greatest thing is people that give themselves their own nicknames suck. I'm going to let this one slide because it's so good. Sly.
Slide.
There we go.
Right.
Now, the line that I'd never heard before, and this is the first time I've heard it in this movie, the commentator about Apollo. I've never seen a fighter that concerned about his hair.
Yeah. Apollo, we came in pretty cash, wasn't he? You know, as George Washington and then whatever.
Yes, absolutely.
Uncle Sam, I want you.
Definitely. Okay. 1 degree, Kurt Russell.
Oh, jeez. Tango and Cat.
Wasn't
Cat.
difficult.
Let's move on.
Wasn't difficult.
Let's move on. Film school. for F-wits. Daniel, take it away.
Yeah, look, it's good to be back to do a bit of learning with the fellow F-wits out there. And this week, I thought I would look at so John G. Avildsen, who was the director of this film, has been labelled the best director of underdog films in history because not only was he responsible for Rocky, but he went on to direct the first 3 of the Karate Kid films as well, which could also be described as an underdog film and very similar plot to that of Rocky with Ralph Macchio, despite having different pugilistic skills or lack thereof. Definitely a massive underdog in all 3 of those fights, and how his character begins getting beat up and basically all he's pointing towards the final battle in all of those films. So I thought, in honour of John G, and he also went on to do The Power of One, which is one of my favourite movies, and a Bryce Courtney adaptation of his amazing novel. I thought we would look at the top 10 or a ranking of the top 10 best underdog films. Now, I don't for a second think that these are the only films that should be spoken about in best underdog films, but I thought they're a good starting point, and maybe we can have some time at the end for you guys to throw a few more at me. But let's start anyway. In number 10, we have Cool Runnings, starring a amazing John Candy prior to his death, obviously, because he wouldn't have been starring it after his death. But a movie that is a great one to revisit with the kids as well, talking about the Jamaican bobsledding team, similar to Rocky in that it wasn't about winning, certainly was more about them pursuing their dream with an unwavering determination, and success wasn't what was going to be the measuring stick of whether they were successful. So would you agree, an underdog film there, Cool Runnings?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Number 9, we have the...
starring, hang on a minute, starring one of the world's worst henchmen in Leon from Cliffhanger.
Blade, Laser, and Blazer. Yeah.
Excellent call. Great pickup. Number 9. Now, this one's further down the list than I would have thought. Now, this is just general rankings of film lovers like ourselves. But The Karate Kid, obviously Ralph Macchio, Pat Morita, Elizabeth Shue, the tale of Mr. Miyagi and Daniel LaRusso, who we've previously debunked as a bit of a cock, and maybe shouldn't be as beloved as he was early on in that film's release. But befriends Mr. Miyagi, takes on the bullies, and goes on to triumph at the All Valley Karate Championships. I mean, Gao, you can unpick this technique for a long time, and certainly it probably isn't up to the standard of what you were taught with your sensei. Sorry, I forget your sensei's name again.
Sensei Mark Greville.
Sensei Mark Greville. I'm
he
sure that
he was my Shidoshi.
Yes.
I beg your pardon. Your Shidoshi would not have been so impressed with the technique of the Karate Kid, but I think it could not be argued that this is also an underdog story.
Oh, definitely an underdog
100%.
story. And, yeah. Are you saying more debating the final kick? Is that saying whether it's legal or not? Is that what you're?
Look, what are your thoughts? I think illegal.
Me and Rounders have been talking about this for a long time. He's all about that it's legal. I'm not. Look, it's an illegal kick, but hey, it's a movie. It's a feel good. Yeah. And this is John G again. Takes his part, takes the underdog who's not really gifted, and then turns him into the superstar of the show. Right? Like,
he's a bad fighter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shithouse fighter. Definitely an underdog, though, not to be argued. Number 8, this one a little higher than I would have thought. This is a favourite of mine. I know Whitey likes it as well. Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill, Philip Seymour Hoffman, recently from 2011, Moneyball. The story of Billy Beane, the failed pro athlete himself, who becomes a manager of the Oakland Athletics, the general manager there, and changes up the way that they select players because they can't compete with Whitey's beloved New York Yankees, and goes on to go agonizingly close to taking out the championship. But again, more about how these underdogs were able to over-deliver. Great film. I love it. Would you argue another underdog classic?
Yeah, I'm actually surprised we haven't done that yet on Born to Watch. Great movie. Really, really good movie. And yeah, I think a pure underdog tale. Like they were like
the average team.
Well, mate, they were 20% of the payroll of the Yankees. Like they just couldn't compete. Managed to find a way.
Really good film, really interesting. It makes it quite a cerebral piece of the statistics of baseball. Really entertaining. And I think that it's a great film that I thoroughly enjoy. Yeah, I don't think it can be argued. Look, number 7. This now, Whitey's already spilled the beans. I'm going to be doing a Rocky film, one a month for the next however fucking many months there are Rocky films. I'd say about 18. But
2028.
coming in at number 7, Rocky 4, hugely special place in the heart of one Matthew David Jackson White. Is it the biggest underdog story from the Rocky franchise? I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think it is. He's obviously an underdog because he's
not on steroids.
not the physical specimen that Ivan Drago is. But I think he's a greater underdog in this movie than what he is in Rocky 4.
Yeah. Okay. We'll hold that. Let's move on. Number 6. Now, this is a film also that I think will need the Born to Watch treatment at some stage. One that we've all seen quite a few times. Don't know about you, Damo, but Sean Astin, Ned Beatty, and Charles S. Dutton in the story of
every second one.
Yeah,
we do talk about Rudy often. Daniel Rudy Rudiger, a young man determined to play for the University of Notre Dame despite his small stature and lack of any foreseeable talent. So, through sheer perseverance and an unwavering belief in himself, Rudy overcomes overwhelming obstacles. I mean, this is the underdog film. Gow, what do you think of Rudy?
Oh, it's a cracker. It's a great movie. And it is a complete underdog story. Like, he's a kid that's too small to make the team and just tries his guts out and eventually gets there and wins the respect of everyone. It's classic underdog.
Agreed.
Great movie. Definitely needs to be covered.
Cannot argue there. Now, Whitey, I want your thoughts on number 5. We'll start to race through, but this is another boxing flick starring our own Rusty Crowe with Renee Zellweger and Paul Giamatti. The Cinderella Man, Ron Howard film from 2005. Now, this is a particularly fine example of an underdog story, as this guy was basically busted up during the Depression. Lost the use of one of his hands because it was so broken, so had to use his other hand in labouring jobs, which increased his strength and allowed him to go on, do a fighting career and to go on and win the title. What do you think of Cinderella Man? It's not one that I reckon I've only seen that movie once or twice, but yeah, look very fondly of it.
I'm the same. I've only seen it a couple of times. My lasting impression is the prosthetic ears that Rusty Crowe has. He's got some wing nuts in that movie.
Right.
But look, I think boxing was brutal. Boxing's brutal, but you're talking about boxing through the Depression and after the Depression, get the fuck out of here. That's
awful.
That's life or death stuff, right?
Awful. Great film. Well worth a look if you haven't seen it. It's now racing along. I'm going to do 4, 3, 2 and leave number 1. But number 4, we've got Remember the Titans, which we've done on Born to Watch.
Cracker.
Number 3, we've got Warrior, which have we done on Born to Watch?
Yes, we did very early on.
We have. Yeah, we have done on Born to Watch. And number 2, a film we haven't done, but we should, starring, of course, Kurt Russell, Miracle, the story of the 1980 US Olympic hockey team. I love that movie. I watch that all the time, and I think it is a brilliant, brilliant film with Kurt Russell playing Herb Brooks, the coach. It just is this grumpy, cantankerous coach that brings together all of these college players to defeat the might of the Soviet Union. Yeah. What do you guys think of Miracle?
It's a great movie.
It's a brilliant story.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Amazing because it's true to life. Kurt Russell, of course, brilliant. Warrior, I've used about enough on this film to know that it's one of my favourites. And Remember the Titans, we all scored quite well in our review of it on Born to Watch. So check it out if you haven't. F-Weeks, but inarguably all of those great underdog stories. But number 1, as fan voted, does come in as Rocky to put to rest the story of Rocky versus Rocky 4 there. So, look, I don't think you can argue this guy has got nothing going on for him. And these films didn't exist, especially in the sporting genre. They've become extremely prolific since. But I think Sylvester Stallone was able to write and bring to the screen a true underdog in Robert Rocky Balboa. Boys, would you agree that's number 1?
Yeah, definitely.
Yep, without a doubt.
Yeah, I'd put dodgeball in front of it.
Now, it's funny you say that, Damo. So that's by no means definitive. There's a whole other lot of underdog films that you could think of. Films like Footloose could be argued that is an
Friday Night
underdog
Lights.
tale. Friday Night Lights, exactly. I mean, Sport is definitely Happy Gilmore. There's, I mean, even Power Rangers is something that could be considered underdog. So. Yeah, look, it's definitely a trope in film. Yeah. What about J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez? Not in Made in Manhattan like Damo with Pattis talk about,
come on.
but in Enough, where she learns Krav Maga.
She gets tough.
Yeah, the Israeli combat force. Yeah, do you know much about Krav Maga?
Oh yeah, look, I know a little bit more about that.
Is it as good as Rex Kwon?
Are you able to talk about it?
Oh, not really.
Okay.
It's too dark.
We'll leave it at that.
One of the dark arts.
Anything I've forgotten? Anything that you guys think of when you think underdog flicks?
I think they pretty much. You could go outside. I mentioned Boogie Nights. That's an underdog story.
Boogie Nights is absolutely an underdog
just a
story.
guy with a great big cock, and it's for the stars, quite literally.
Yep.
But mate, Big Trouble in Little China, underdog story.
Jack Burton. Yeah.
Star Wars, underdog story. Luke Skywalker. Right? It's Jaws.
It is aligned very well with the heroes.
Jaws is the poor little shark, anybody, you know.
He's the run of the litter. He was the run of the litter, old Bruce.
Excellent. Good chat. Thank you, boys. That is a film school for F-Wits this week. Lots of films out there to check out if you haven't seen it, but especially Miracle and Moneyball. Those are the two that I would implore you to check out. Thank you, F-Wits. Good learning.
Good call, Daniel. Good segment, as always. Now, we've been very, 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 very slack with Stan Bush Kick-Ass credit song.
What do you mean?
Well, no, we did it. Daniel did one. We've done one this year.
I started for one. Yeah. I've got a working title.
Now, I've got one.
Oh, do you?
I've written the song.
Disgusting.
Oh, it's crazy. No, in my absence, it's just gone.
It has. And from now on, we shall not miss a week. We are, and I'll put the roster up and we'll stick to it. Yeah. Now, I've written one, this afternoon. I'd had some stuff going around in my head.
Yeah.
It's called It's a Show, Not a Fight.
Right.
And I'm not sure how it goes. But I'm sure
that's always a good start for us.
Phrasing and melody is always your challenge. Your lyrics are always top notch.
I think the lyrics are pretty good this time around again.
Rhythm and melody.
But okay, here we go. Stan Bush Kick-Ass credit song. It's a show, not a fight. Inner city Philly is a hell of a place. Working hard to make a living, getting punched in the face. Training up in Mickey's where he's losing his locker. He's favoring some others. He's a bit of a cocker. Creed is the champ and he loves his hair. Needs a punching bag on New Year's Day. How will Rocky fare? It's a show, not a fight. Someone forgot to tell The Rock. He'll take it to the body. Creed will rue the night he mocked. The underdog will show the world what heart really is. The result doesn't matter. Only wants to go the Diz. It's a show, not a fight. Creed had better change his tune. His corner man has warned him that his record will be ruined. It's a show, not a fight. Rock's alone in the ring. Yo, Adrian, I did it. Yo, Adrian, I did.
Yeah, very good. You went the Diz. I love
a lot of syllables in some of those lines being condensed somewhat.
Yeah, well, you know, he's a bit of a cocker. And
oh wow!
I said
at the friend of the pod.
I started to come up with a song, but I pretty much I had my working title. But once again, I know what you blokes are like. So I didn't continue with it. I know that you guys, you got your mind in the gutter. And so I was like, no, I better stop here, right? It was called Pounding Raw Meat. So, and I stopped.
Mate, I got to say, that could have been as good as Paul Rick's leash.
Well, then I was thinking, hang on, why? It was just, he's just said Shamrock Meats fighting. That's it. There's nothing, nothing like anything weird. And then I thought of Pounded in the Ring. And then I went, yeah, maybe not.
There's a theme here.
Yeah.
My first title was First Round Knockdown, and I was working around that. But then I liked the quote. It's a damn show.
Yeah,
he thinks he forget it's a damn fight. It's not a damn show, whatever.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd do that.
Good to include that. Yep.
Away we go.
To be fair, I'm still working on a song for Cliffhanger. I've got something in the bag. I've started one. I haven't got
Okay,
back
good.
to it yet.
Well, we can retroactive,
What was it again?
retrospectively.
It's done to the tune of Tucker's daughter.
That's right, because it was Tucker. Yeah, it was-
Tucker and Walker,
Yeah.
enemies.
All right, gentlemen, reel it in. Star of the show, Daniel. What do you got?
You cannot go past Sly. It would be disingenuous of us to say anything like the guy put his life, bet on himself, wrote the script, starred in the film, gave or put his hand up and said, "No, I don't want the short-term gain. I reckon I'll bet on myself here." Turned it into an incredible career and an iconic character that went on to feature in about 17 other films, as we've discussed. Absolutely, if there is anyone else in this film that can beat Sly, I would love to hear why. Well done, Sly.
No, I'm just going to call it here. We're all going Sly, right?
Yeah, we're all
Yeah,
going
we are.
Sly, but very well supported by an ensemble cast there too.
For
Some
sure,
great
but
performances.
I think he's leaps and bounds ahead
Oh,
of
he
everyone
is.
else, though.
Yeah.
He's not. Look, to be fair, he's only a touch above his brother, who got in there on his own merits.
Well, there are two kinds of love.
there are, and take me back. Wow,
And the,
one of the great
the
songs.
turtles were pretty good.
Well, Cuff and Link.
Yeah.
Not Link and
I
Cuff.
guess it's good.
Yeah, okay. Sly gets it. The Rank Bank. It was a tough one, this one.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
So I've got squash balls.
Oh yeah, was it a squash ball?
Loves
A
his
bounce-
squash ball,
I think
yeah.
it was more
Yeah.
of a, it was
It's
pretty
squash ball.
bouncy.
It's a
No,
squash
it's a
ball.
squash ball. It's a squash ball.
Squash ball. Shots at the title. Pet turtles. Italian stallions. Bill Conti's. Training montages.
Oh, it's not bad.
Meatwork sparring sessions. Underdog stories. Raw egg cocktails. Or fuckwit drivers.
Oh, God. Yeah, or Spider Rico's.
What about Yo Adrian's?
I don't know. Yo, Adrian.
Could be Yo Adrian's.
Yeah, it might be.
I
Yo
like
Adrian.
Spider Rico's.
Spider Rico's.
I don't mind Spider Rico's, to
Okay,
be honest.
let's do that.
Okay, let's slip straight into.
Well, he was one of the best one. He Spider
He was
Rico.
definitely he was
Definitely the best name.
a good
Well,
opponent.
I'd love
good
to know
opponent.
his record. 200 fights.
There was
Yeah.
a game on the PlayStation 2, a Rocky game on the PlayStation 2, and you went through his whole career and you fought Spider Rico.
Oh, really?
It was an awesome game. It was a really, really good game. Okay, so we'll start with you, Damien.
Yep.
How many Spider Ricos are you giving Rocky?
Rocky. Yes, I love this movie. I reckon this to me it's a solid half point to a point better than any other Rocky.
Wow.
I love everything about it. The realness. I said, like when I watch the other ones, I can see a distinct Sylvester Stallone acting as opposed to this one.
Oh well, it's the Hollywoodization of the franchise,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So I'd totally do it. This is the sort of movie that makes you want to do push-ups. You know, you just want to.
It's no such movie.
mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no. You wash your mouth out. There is no such movie.
Right, yeah. So this is 4.75 for me.
Wow.
Whoa!
Wow, that's
That's-
massive.
I think it's a phenomenal movie.
On the land, what do you got?
Yeah, Damo, I can see why, and I like the mythology of this film. I love the backstory of this film. I love what Sylvester Stallone did to get this film made. But as a viewing experience, watching it again this week, I was bored shitless. If I want to watch a romance movie, I'm going to go watch Made in Manhattan. I didn't need it. I couldn't
No,
buy
you're
into it. I think the pacing was so fucking slow compared to what our ADD riddled brains are used to now. I can't see myself going back to it anytime soon. I'm not going to Marie Kondo it. I'm not saying I'm bidding it farewell, but it's going to be a while before I would bother to put it back on. Still, it's obviously beloved. It's given us a lot of joy over the years, but 3.5 out of 5 is where I'm going to land on for Rocky.
I'm just stealing you for some serious abuse here from Sloane Nixon.
Which third was it, Morgan? This one was the first third was pretty slow.
The middle third was particularly fucking draining.
The middle third is
Yeah.
if you're going to say something that drags in the movie, the middle third does drag. a
I
little bit.
found no
Fuck
drag at all
me.
in this movie.
Yeah,
It
no,
was about
absolutely.
story
Mate, all
building,
power to you. All
emotion,
power to you.
Yeah. But I think, if there was condensation in it, you would have a... Yeah, because you have clearly loved a slow movie because of the condensation.
Well,
So
it was
we put
the
some
he
condensation.
put very little thought into the mise en scene. So that was because the city itself was able to convey so much and what a shithole it was. So yeah, no, I stick by my my vote 3.5. It's not a bad score, but I
Good score, 7 out of 10.
It's a good score, yeah.
7 out of 10.
Yeah, there we go.
G-Man.
When I put this on last night, having not watched it for a long time, as soon as we heard the 6 trumpets, like the hairs
Oh,
on
mate,
my arms
it's
started
incredible.
to stand on the end. And yes, it is slow at the start, but I didn't find that dragging at all. Just telling that whole story. I guess maybe because I remember when I watched this years ago, I thought, wow, it is slow. And I guess maybe I was prepared for it this time. It's hard to separate this for me from 1 and 2 because you get so involved in the whole story. But it was a great rewatch, and I really enjoyed it. Just the music's awesome. It's iconic. Just builds up. So I'm a 4.5. Spider
Wow.
Rico.
Okay.
Oh.
Love that. Love that. I had a score here that I put down this afternoon, and I think it's a little unfair. So I've given this an extra 0.25 on what I originally had it as. And that's just because it's the start of something fucking special.
Yes.
Right? And what they were able to do here and the character of Rocky is so iconic and so important in my life. And it's going to be, I'm not saying I have to leave wiggle room because this is not my favorite Rocky, and it's probably, it may not be in my top 5 Rockies, right? But what an amazing film. 4 Spider Ricos for me. It was 3.75, but I've upped it to 4. G-Man, where does that leave us?
Okay, that brings us in with a total of 4.19 Spider Ricos into 28th spot. Now that is right below. There's a whole heap of movies on 4.25. We've got Die Hard, Full Metal Jacket, Ghostbusters, Animal Kingdom, The Usual Suspects, and Good Will Hunting. It's right above The Dark Knight at 4.17. And again, The Dark Knight, The Matrix, The Guard, and Mad Max all at 4.17.
Hockey pants.
So yeah, into 28th spot in the ratings.
Well, that's pretty
Wearing
good. I
hockey
think that's pretty good for a movie that's 50 years old.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair spot. It's in some pretty good company.
Yep,
it really is. Okay, if you loved Rocky, what are you gonna love, Daniel?
I put down 2004 Clint Eastwood joint with Hillary Swank. Fuck, sorry, I've lost my mouth.
Start again, mate. That's fucking pathetic.
Well, thank you, Matthew, for throwing to me. I've actually thought about 2004's Clint Eastwood film $1 Million Baby, starring Hillary Swank, which again in the sports genre, but a super sad movie.
Grim.
Very enjoyable, massive underdog flick itself, but it's not one you can watch a lot. Like I've probably only seen it twice, but thoroughly enjoyed both. But it's very much a sad flick, and again doesn't necessarily focus on the striving for world championships or to become the best. It's more about the journey and really this young boxer pulling herself out of struggle street. So great film, worth a look. Check it out.
Damien.
I'm going for the non-sports movie as well. Bit of a tearjerker, Field of Dreams.
Oh, what a movie!
Because once again, it's not about the baseball. It's about the other.
It's the relationship with his dad.
Yep.
It is. So I love. Yeah, I like those.
Great movie.
To me,
It's a real
similar.
movie.
Yeah,
it's a real movie.
It's been told to me that it's
Yeah.
an actual real
It's
movie.
real. Yeah.
It's not sci-fi and bullshit like Star Wars. It's a real movie about ghosts in a cornfield playing baseball.
I don't know, it's a top show, and you will probably shed it to you.
It's a great movie. I love. I watch Field of Dreams
Great
at least
movie.
once a year. Incredible movie. G-Man.
I went for a movie that I only watched a couple of times and I saw not long ago, and we haven't brought it up here tonight, which is a bit of a shame, but it's The Fighter. With Mark
Really
Wahlberg,
good.
Christian Bale, Amy Adams. I mean, I'll tell you what, like, it is grim. It is a grim movie. The real life story of Mickey Ward, the boxer, and his brother. The portrayal from Christian Bale, from all of them. Amy Adams in it. She's awesome in this movie. Watched her in American Hustle on the weekend. What a great movie that is too.
Yeah, David O. Russell, and that's David O. Russell as well. The Fighter.
So interestingly, like Philly, they really depict Boston is a bit of a toilet as well.
Yes.
In South Boston. So I think they get it. And a shout out to the sisters that Amy Adams encounters when she starts
Yes.
to date. Wowzers. That is a collective of unique character actresses.
And Melissa Leo was the mum.
Yep.
She is incredible in that movie.
I
as
love
well.
Melissa Leo. I think she's fantastic. Really enjoyed her in Treme.
Hugely underrated.
I think just that whole movie, when Christian Bale thinks that they're making a documentary about him and then figures out what they're really
when
doing.
He's in prison. Yeah.
And it's just so heart-wrenching. And, it's like it's a really well-told story, based on real life.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah.
Don't do drugs.
Christian Bale the biggest yo-yo dieting actor we have ever seen?
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Wait, in American Hustle,
he's muddy.
He's muddy in
that. Big unit, and then look at the Machinist where he just died.
Well, but Fassbender gives him a bit of a go. Fassbender, but not to the extent of Christian
which
Bale.
film?
Well, he's in Shame, where he's skinny. He's also in the other one, Hunger.
Yeah, Hunger. That's the one. Yeah,
the Hunger, where he's really skinny.
Yeah, Shame's a good film. Disturbed.
What about 2020 Morgs? He gives a bit of a run these days,
mate.
Because Fat Morgs was a good bloke.
Well, I've got to say, we talked about Fat Morgs, and we actually put a clip up on Instagram about Morgs, saying that both Fat Morgs and Skinny Morgs are both fuckwits, and we all agree. But I got to say, the Morgs that's the most concerning yo-yoing dieting Morgs is 2008 Japan Morgs. That's the Morgs I turned up, and I tell you what, we turned up to Niseko, and it was quite a storm. And he could walk between the snowflakes.
Right.
I tell you what, now I should have a weight loss system that is basically go into a cold climate, get a shovel, and start digging out your apparatus.
Place of business.
Place of business, so that Aussie dickheads can come in and drink Japanese piss. That will send you skinny overnight almost. So yes. Look, all I would say is all the Morgs are absolute cunts. Every single one.
All right, now mine: Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, Rocky Balboa, and Creed. Do not watch Rocky 5; it's a travesty.
Which hang on, play out, right? Is that Tommy Morrison?
Yes.
Yeah. Saw that not long ago.
Look, I don't mind it.
It's not good. It's not good.
It's watchable.
No, I don't think it's watchable.
I would say no.
Sure, we'll get to it. We'll have a debate.
Yeah.
Well, you may have to in about 4 months' time.
Have you seen, Creed 3? I haven't watched Creed 3 yet.
Look, Creed 3 should have been Creed 2. Creed 2, where he fights Drago's son, is abysmal. And it really put me off the Creed train. Creed 3 is not bad.
Creed itself, excellent.
Really good.
I don't think I've seen anything beyond Creed.
Neither have I.
Creed is excellent, and the other two aren't a pinch
I
on
thought
it.
Creed was okay. I didn't love it.
Really?
Yeah. That's why I didn't watch the next two.
Yeah. Well, Creed 2 is disappointing. Okay, good episode, gentlemen. Obviously, talking about a subject which is close to all our hearts. An amazing score on the rank bank, 4.19 Spider Ricos. Gal's already checked out. He's checking his work email, which means that it is time to shut the show. And
I'm checking the Born to Watch spreadsheet. I'm just going to see if I get if I'm on hit sleeper or dud next week.
No, I'll let you know that. I'll let you know that during the show next week.
I've never got any of those.
No, there's not. That's the whole thing.
I'll let you know next week. It's hard to manage 5 people. But next week we say farewell for a week to both Damien and Daniel. They get a week off, and we welcome via remote.
Is it me and you?
It is me and you.
Rendezvous.
It is me and you, and we are bringing in via remote from Sydney, Australia, the one Sloane Nixon.
Whoa! Wow.
If I don't think there is a greater Nixon movie made after 2000 than Mark Wahlberg's Shooter.
Cracker.
Yeah.
Playing Mike Swigert or something, and he's the sniper who gets framed, and it is Danny Glover. Good Danny Glover.
Yeah.
Really good Danny Glover. And it's going to be a lot of fun because it's that kind of movie that's a lot of fun, but you can pick the shit out of it.
I think we'll see a massive spike in audience too as the pride of Jetstar himself rejoins the airwaves. I think Commando is still our number one downloaded episode.
It's one of them. It's one of them.
Yeah.
And look, Sloan was with us in the very early days. Commando was in the first
Yeah,
6
it
or
was.
7
He
episodes.
was on an early one.
Yeah, and I've got to say, he may be on another episode because he may be venturing to the Gold Coast in April.
Excellent.
So he may be joining us again
Excellent.
in studio.
The Shooters TV series too was really good. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, who's it?
Ryan
Philippe?
Ryan Philippe.
Yeah.
Philippe.
It's a good show. Yeah, I'll tell you who's in the Shooter movie. Rona Mitra.
Oh, she's a great sort.
Oh,
Yeah, and
Is she
so's
she's in the life of David Gale. She's unbelievable.
so's Kate Mara.
yes, Kate Mara as
Oh
well.
God, that was her first movie.
Yep.
It's gorgeous.
Rona Mitra and Ali G in the house.
Rona Mitra in Hollow Man.
Oh, yes.
In-
She's actually new.
The
She's
life
nude.
of David Gale.
Yeah. Oh, she's written David Gale, isn't she?
Yep.
God, please, Kevin. Sorry, on what planet is Kevin Spacey ever having sex with Rona Mitra? Now, for one reason, she's got a vagina. That's one reason he may not have sex with her. 2, she's a 50 out of 10, Kevin.
Yeah, absolute 50 out of 10.
Stick to the best boy grip. Anyway, on that note, we shall see you next week for Shooter allegedly stick to the best boy grip, Kevin. And
He got off.
He certainly did more than once. It's been an absolute pleasure. Daniel, always a pleasure.
Thank you. Need another break. See you in a few weeks.
Damien,
Yep, I'll be back in a couple of weeks.
you'll be back for the 100th
Aliens.
episode.
Yeah, I'll make a cake.
G-Man, it's me and you. Part of the furniture again.
Can't wait for the Shooter.
Not letting you go.
No,
You've had far
I'm
too
back.
many weeks off. It's been a pleasure, people. Next week's the Shooter. We're looking forward to having a special guest. Don't forget, share to your friends, share to your enemies. We're still doing your homework. Share to 3 people. Let them know. Let's build this up so that we can get another sponsor that I actually might get something out of.
Hey,
It's been a pleasure.
Hey.
Until next week,
Oh,
bye for now.
Shamrock meats.
See ya.
Okay, see ya.